scrum picks. But those
Yeah.
hybrid picks will really be a toss-up in my mind.
Yeah, those are the ones I'm excited for. Those could go either way. So Wings, no defer. What do you think? You have any idea of where they might go first pick here?
Yeah, I have noticed that Wings tends, although most players in this tournament have been opting to defer their ban and pick, Wings has been pretty insistent on picking first and banning first. I think the last couple matches he's played, I believe he picked Ishoin Impossible. I don't know how you say that, but
Okay.
I think he could go one of two ways. I think he could go with a song that he might not feel super comfortable on, but knows is going to be picked at some point to get that one out of the way. Or he can go with one that says, I need to put a point on the board. I want to be up 1-0 with something like Misho and Impossible. Is it just Mission Impossible? I don't know.
I mean, yeah, I mean, I tend to say like Mission or Michon. I mean, the guy's name is like Scott Mishu or something, so it's like a play on his name or whatever. But yeah, it doesn't really matter.
But yeah, I think he definitely could lean towards a solo pick and have a pretty good chance. All right, Smitty is confirming that it's Mission. Thank you.
Okay.
Don't miss you.
Thank you for making it easy for us. Well, yeah, the thing about Mission Impossible is that it's a song where I feel you can, if you hit a rhythm on it, you can really just go like the whole 9 yards with it. A song like Full Speed X has a section that everyone calls the walls that is very much like a crusty type of section, but if you can get in that groove on Mission Impossible, I wouldn't be surprised if we see an FC here or something close.
Yeah, as you said, these players are both insanely good, and we finally do get our first pick.
Oh.
And a little surprising, one might say,
Yeah.
but I will say that Wings tends to sometimes start off with picks that he knows are going to get picked by the opposing player, just to get him out of the way and get the nerves out. So I don't mind this pick from them.
Yeah, this is an interesting pick. I like that thought process. Also, you better be warmed up. This is the first song of the day. I mean, wow,
Yeah.
this is you want to talk about a strum stamina song. Strumina. This is it.
Yeah, this song is absolutely a burner as we go into our first song, Buried by Time and Dust.
One thing that I always found especially tricky about this song is it's deceivingly easy to overstrum on some of the small tempo changes throughout it.
Yeah, I completely agree. Especially in this early section, the speed changes so much.
Yeah, absolutely. It's almost harder to get into the groove of it than to stay in the groove of it. Both these players are looking great so far.
I believe both of them are on path still. I think you wait for...
There's the act.
I think you wait for...
Okay, interesting.
Difference in path here.
Yeah. Interesting. Wings opting for the chords instead. It's going to have a temporary lead, but it's going to be down one phrase.
Yeah, and we'll see how these players hold up in this faster strumming section. I imagine both of them are quite comfortable at their skill level.
Right. Here's where it really starts. Both have crossed over the 1,000 note streak and are looking good. There's the act.
And Burdee takes that lead back with his activation there, but Wings is about to get another activation here. Will probably take it back, and he will.
This is going to be back and forth the whole way. What I suspect is that they're both going to act around a similar time, but Burdee's going to have an extra phrase to try and make up that gap, and I don't know if it'll be enough.
Yeah,
I suspect it probably will.
Yeah, I think with like the differing BPMs, as GMS points out in chat, I think there are a lot of different paths you can use for this song.
Okay.
So we'll see who comes out on top. Right now, both have an activation ready to use, and Burdee sends his.
There's the act. You're gonna get the. Ooh, wow.
Oh, it's somebody.
Look at the tango. Oh my goodness.
There's different ticks, so someone's gonna be ahead.
Wow, look at Wings. Oh my goodness. I see 70 and 58. So as far as I'm concerned, it might be a 12-point difference here.
I'm not sure if anyone can pause the stream. It might be
Yeah.
like it's flickering on our side. Oh no!
Drop!
All right, we know who's in the lead now because Wings drops his FC.
You have to act here, and that should do it.
And Burdee will take it in a nail biter.
Wow, wow, wow.
Wow. If this
to be
is
honest, yeah, go ahead.
If this is any representation to what we're about to see for the next couple songs, this was incredible.
Yes, you hit the nail on the head. I mean, that was unbelievable. Especially from Wings, maybe picking a song that most people don't think of as a strong suit and getting a -1, just an unfortunate drop at the end, but you know, Burdee with the all-time consistency.
Yeah, I think a lot of Burdee's strength lies in songs just like this. So not surprised that it was an FC from them. I didn't want to say it, but I kind of figured it was happening.
Well, if you're Wings now, where do you go here? Do you go back into your strong suit, or what are you thinking?
Yeah, it's a good question here. Yeah, that first pick definitely threw me for a loop a little bit, so I'm not quite sure where they're heading, but clearly they knew what they were doing on that song. I mean, yeah. I think someone in chat said that it was literally a 12-point difference. So
Wow.
They were exactly on that path with Burdee. So it wasn't even a squeeze or anything.
Wow. Where does that 12 points come from? Is it like a sustained?
There's a few sustains right before the faster strumming starts, so I think someone must have just dropped a quick one. I mean, it's 12 ticks, so yeah, who knows?
Right.
Yeah, Wings taking a little bit of time to figure out their next move here.
Yeah, I was surprised by that first pick, and I don't know if. Okay, CSQN back into the hybrids now.
Yeah, this one. I think this one could be a toss-up, honestly.
Agreed.
I did notice that Burdee banned this song in their last match against Deltarac, but that might have been more of a strategic ban because I have to assume that both players are pretty solid on this song.
Yeah. This song is not sight read friendly. I'll tell you what.
Yeah, it is a little goofy with some of those tap note strums. And 3up in chat bringing up a great point. Maybe Wings is trying to stay leaning towards suspension as the tiebreaker. Maybe thinking all the way in advance to that tiebreaker.
Wow.
We were dead tied after that first activation.
Oh my gosh. Oh, it's so...
Oh. First drop from Wings there. Burdee holds his FC. The Wings did have a drop in there, but managed to hold on for that phrase, so they are on equal star power. They should be able to stay within striking distance of Burdee. Right now, only a couple thousand.
Yeah.
Oh, both of them miss under SP.
Oh, wow. That is a brutal section to miss under with all those chords and star power, but both miss, so it doesn't look like it's going to shake out to a whole bunch of a difference.
Yeah, I think that lead will stay right around that 7K about.
Yeah. It was that first miss from Wings that had some chords, which expanded that one-note miss score just a little bit more.
Right, and Burdee also missed their first note of the entire match just then.
Yeah. No more match FC for Burdee.
Yeah, unfortunately for that.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Oh! That's a really tough miss to swallow if you're Wings.
That
right
is.
Before those chords and the star power activation. And that lead has grown to almost 20K now.
Wow. Yeah.
Oh, another miss.
Whoa, big misses.
Little.
It's gonna be tough to claw this back.
Yeah, Wings definitely made up some ground after a couple misses under those hopos for Burdee. It's going to come down to this last activation.
Yeah.
Wings needs a miss from Burdee. Probably needs to be under star power.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you're Burdee, it's an easy formula. Just stay consistent.
Well, easier said than done. I mean, this song
Absolutely.
is nowhere close to easy.
Oh.
Oh. Oh, Burdee misses.
Miss. I don't think it's gonna be enough.
I think, and that'll do it. Burdee narrowly hangs on to make it a 2-0 game in favor of them.
Wow. That is 2 picks now that Burdee's taken off Wings.
I'll say right now, if I'm Wings, I am picking my strongest song.
Yes,
Right
I
now.
was gonna say that. Surely you go into the bag of tricks here.
I agree. I think you pull out The Voyage. I think you pull out Mission Impossible. I think you pull out what you are known for with that incredible soloing ability.
Yeah, absolutely.
I will say, Burdee is no slouch when it comes to soloing, but I think Wings is just definitely going to be a little more favored there. And we do have the solo boss song, The Voyage, coming up from Wings.
Yes. I've seen many matches made and broken on the very end of this one. This song could, it is one of the most dynamic songs in the whole chart and set list, so.
Yeah, I mean, I think just yesterday, I'm pretty sure Burdee came back from a pretty big deficit just to win at the end. And was that a phrase miss from Wings?
Yes, it was.
Oh, no.
I believe.
And an odd place to miss, too. I wonder what happened there.
Maybe just a thumb slip, just something. I think it was an overstrum, though. Oh, no.
Oh, that's another phrase miss. They're not going to have an activation here.
No, they aren't.
Oh, Burdee dropped earlier, too. I didn't realize that. I think I was more focused on Wings' phrase drop.
Yeah. Only 2 drops from Wings, but it's 2 terribly important spots. Already gonna have to do some clawing back, but we'll see. This song is long, and it is dynamic.
Yeah, I would not count Wings out of any solo boss. I think I think they are still in this match 100%.
Absolutely.
They do have the star power advantage here as well, but they're staring down about a 25k deficit.
Yeah. Now, if you're Wings, are you going to be able to get back on path? Hopefully. I don't know what is path for this song.
Yeah, unfortunately, I didn't touch this song.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, I think both of us were in playoffs, but I knew that I was never playing this song.
Right, right, exactly. Okay.
Burdee's going to get this overlap and keep his lead pretty secure for now.
Just
Still looking at about a 25k deficit.
Yeah. Interesting act. Getting those.
The Wings going to act here. Oh. And also missing in that. Honestly, it's funny to say, I don't think that section was as note dense as some of the other ones.
Yeah, yeah. I wonder if it was just like an act that had to be that way so that you'd hit the rest of the star power phrases or something. It was interesting.
Right. You did get a lot of star power there, so maybe he was thinking he could get a full bar? I do want to take a minute to just say both these players are incredible. Like, look at the stuff they're just shredding through right now.
Yeah. I mean, it's unbelievable. This.
Yeah, both players really showing why they are capable of performing in Elite League.
Full bar for Wings. What can he do with it?
Yeah, I have to imagine he knows this song well. Okay, they're sending it here.
Gonna get the overlap. Wow.
Perfect solo from both of them. Oh, wow.
Unbelievable.
Alright, this song is not over yet. We've still got more soloing to do.
That lead is makeable. Absolutely makeable.
I would agree. Burdee eclipsing 1,000 note streak.
Wow. Oh my god.
And Wings hot on his tail for that one, too. And Wings is gonna get there, too. Unbelievable.
Wow. That's just insane. It's unbelievable.
In a stressful match situation,
Yeah.
too, both of these players. My goodness. Oh my god.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Oh my god.
Wow. I
Get
mean,
out of here. Are you serious?
Wow.
Oh my god.
that was
Perfect.
insane stuff. There's still another act in here.
There
So
is,
it's-
and yeah.
Not
There's
quite
maybe a
over yet.
couple. I know you act at the very, very, very end.
Let's see, does Wings have enough to take it back? Oh, I think that might just do it. Burdee missing? Burdee missing again? Both players missing? Wow, yeah, you just don't know what's gonna happen at that point. Wow. That was an incredible performance from both players. A minus 16 and a minus 20 on that song. Unbelievable. But we see Burdee take a 3-0 lead.
Yeah, wow. All three taken off of Wings.
Yeah, they haven't even picked a song yet. This is, I mean, you've got to feel good if you're Burdee right now, and if you're Wings, if your back already wasn't against the wall, like, you've got to feel a little bit of pressure now, because you're staring down 3-0, and your opponent hasn't even picked a song yet.
An immediate pick.
Yeah, very quick pick. You've got to imagine they're pretty confident in this one, and knowing Wings' skill set, I believe they're going to be pretty good at this one.
Yeah. I mean, wherever you go right now as Wings, you're going to be walking the gauntlet to bring this one back.
Exactly.
You're going to be facing down all of Burdee's picks, almost all Burdee picks for the rest of this match. And, yeah, but into Nekomajin we go.
Yeah, this math rock song is a little nuts at times, but it's a pretty fun chart, I gotta say.
You know, it grew on me. The first time I heard it, I was like, these guys are allergic to just keeping the same pattern. But
right. Yeah, and Wings with an early miss again.
Wow. A lot of cordage there.
I think Wings was able to get back their 8x by the time they activated, minimizing that deficit right now.
Yeah. I think it's another overstrum. Who hits? Who misses? Both. Oh!
Oh! And I believe that was a phrase.
Yes, I believe it was. Oh, man.
God, the BPM in this song is so weird. So yeah, during the slower section, we can see that Burdee has maybe about a 23k lead. And Wings with a pretty significant whammy advantage here. Might not be enough to make up all 25,000 points, but oh, certainly not when you miss under SP. Oh, that's another so devastating miss.
Gonna get the 8x for these, which is nice, but missing in those earlier chords was detrimental.
Yeah, as you pointed out, he did get the 8x for those 3-note chords, which was pretty essential to keeping him in this match.
Doing everything I can at this point to not talk about Burdee's score right now. Okay, well, you know what?
Why? Why? Why?
Yeah, you can pin me to a wall with my hands wanted dead or alive now. I got a bounty out for him now.
Instantaneous.
Oh my gosh.
Instantaneously.
Why do I test fate like this?
Oh my
Zip your
God.
lips, Cheeto.
That was an all-time curse.
Burdee hit the thing.
Both players did miss at the end of that section, and understandably so. It is so hard.
I'm sorry, chat. I'm sorry.
And getting back to the actual match here, Burdee maintains about a I'm bad at math, 35k lead.
Yeah.
Cheeto's got me all screwed up after that.
You know what? Rightfully so. What was I thinking?
Oh man, that was incredible. Do have a quick second to catch our breath in this song here, right before we go back into the craziness. I'm not sure if there's enough song left for Wings to make up this score deficit.
Yeah. I think you're right. And Burdee has dropped a little bit in the back half here, but has built up enough of a safety net where he can afford plenty.
Right. Like, and I think Burdee's just shown that he's been so consistent that I don't trust him to miss enough, even if there were enough notes for Wings to come back.
Right. Here's the outro.
Oh, that's nuts.
That's right.
And this is now a 4-0 lead.
Wow.
Wow, I gotta say, with as much respect as I can give Burdee in this statement, I was not expecting a 4-0 lead for them.
I was expecting this one to go pretty close to tiebreaker. I mean, it's a 1.
I agree, and we still could get there. We absolutely still could. Like, Wings is clearly one of the best players in this tournament. They are very good at every song on the set list, so we absolutely could see it. And I think he's got a really good chance to start this comeback on Mission Impossible.
Agreed. If there's any song that would be considered a Wings song, it's this.
Yeah, I do think this is Burdee's strongest fretting skill set as well. I mean, you saw how well he performed on the Voyage too. So I think this will be close.
It will be. Yeah, if you're Wings, you cannot expect to cruise through this one. Beautiful drums.
Yeah, if any of you thought that Fly High, Ride Low was fast, just wait for this one.
Oh no.
Oh no, Wings, that was a phrase drop. Oh. I mean,
and
Wings is also, I feel like they're not missing many notes, but I feel like they're missing at the most, like, at the worst times possible. Yeah. Like, they're missing phrases, they're missing under chords. It's just sucks to say it.
Unfortunate. Yeah. It's one miss in the whole song, and it just happens to be on phrase during an overlap.
Exactly. Like, look at this right now. Like, they're fine. Like, I think we know that he has the ability to FC the song. So, I mean, I'm wondering if it could be maybe a little bit of nerves, maybe hands feeling tired after, 4 pretty physical songs. Who knows?
Yeah.
Both players are going to send an activation here. Oh, Burdee with the first drop under SP.
Wow.
And that lead has shrunk to 10K.
It has. Wings over the 1,000 note mark.
Yeah, could this be maybe what they're looking for to start coming back? Burdee with the miss there. And another miss.
Just like that, we are right neck and neck again. Difference of path.
I don't think you wanted that overlap, if I had to guess.
Oh,
that was a slow section.
Wow. Now we're on a different... And if you don't want that overlap, Wings... The door is open for Wings here.
Yeah, and with that miss in that slow section from Burdee, I think he might just be thinking about the path.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Wings is actually going to take the lead, I believe, right here. Maybe a little. Oh my god, it's
barely. Oh my gosh.
Could this be what they were looking for?
Wow.
Oh man, there is not much song left.
No, there isn't.
Oh
One
man.
miss is all it takes.
Oh, and there's Burdee with
that
the miss. Under SP too.
And it's not gonna be, it's not gonna be an optimal SP. That's gonna open the door even more. Oh my goodness.
Wow. And Wings finally on the board with their first song win, and a hard-fought one at that. I mean,
yes.
Wow.
That was unreal.
That was insane. Wow. Yeah, Wings with after that recovered really well after that early phrase miss. I think
absolutely.
I think that overlap from Burdee was huge too.
It was. But all credit to Wings ending up like an 1,800 note streak at the end. I mean, locking it out, clutching it up.
Absolutely.
Now, though, now you face the gauntlet.
Yeah, and I could see this pick coming from a mile away. This is right up Burdee's alley. We're going with Cracks of Light, Allstroms at 115%. Great song, by the way.
Yeah.
This was definitely my favorite song, both to listen to and to play in this set list. This was so fun.
I agree. It was way up there for me as well.
But yeah, I
especially love the spoken word verses.
Yes. Let's get some nodders in chat for this one.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay, it was a spectator lag. They did get the phrase, but did drop a little early there. All right, and I do know the path to this one, so I think I'll be able to follow what they're doing here. Yeah, Burdee with an early miss, but not under SP, so still only about 3K down. Wings with their first miss. Burdee's gonna retake the lead here.
Wings missed the phrase.
No, I didn't realize. Another phrase miss.
Unfortunate misses.
I feel like that's just been the story. Like, I mean, so many phrase misses. Oh,
goodness. Gonna have a full bar going into this part, which isn't bad, but they...
Yeah, I think that's pretty much back on task.
Yeah.
Yeah. Both acting where I would expect. Oh!
Okay.
Burdee missing? Alright, we're looking at about a 15K lead. Very, very recoverable for Wings. Oh, both get a one phrase off that whammy.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, and I believe that was yet another phrase miss for Wings.
That might be 3 phrase misses now.
And yeah, just in this song alone. I will say, that section, if you get off rhythm, it is so hard to get back on it. Like, it is... Like, this one looks much more like they just struggle with that section a little more, as opposed to just missing the phrase.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, some of the other misses were just, like, a little shocking. Because I think we both know, everyone in chat knows how good Wings is. And I know this performance is not representative of how good he really is.
Yeah, and even saying that, I mean, they're putting up ridiculous scores. I mean,
Burdee's been really...
like, yeah.
Just missed another phrase.
Man.
Oh, it's just devastating.
It is.
I mean, we're not quite in Meteor territory, but just given how Burdee has performed a little better on this song so far, I think we're almost there.
Yeah, and this outro act, There it is, the overlap going into the chords. Wings
and
prayer.
I think we can call it now. I believe Burdee is going to take this with a 5-1 victory.
Wow. Amazing match.
Burdee came to play today. Oh gosh.
Absolutely.
-4. Like, and a nice 4-4. Score. Yeah, let's get some
4 overstrums too. Let's get some
we gotta. I would love to get these players in for an interview if they're willing. Please get your claps in chat. Both these players performed incredibly well, and you will see both of these players in the first revitalized edition of Elite League. So more to come with both of these players, fortunately for us. All right, and we are getting our players dragged in now. And we are joined in the booth with WingsOfSpeed and Burdee. I honestly have no words. I mean, I'll start with Burdee. Did you think this was how this match was going to go? Like, I think all of us were really expecting a tiebreaker or something to go the distance, but I mean, you really were relentless this entire time. Like, how do you feel like you played?
I mean, going into any match where you're up against such a skilled competitor like Wings, you have to fight through nerves and you have to prepare for every possible outcome. And admittedly, this wasn't one that I was super prepared for. I was really mentally prepared for this to go the distance and for me to have to lock in for a tiebreaker. But I couldn't be more happy with this. I'm super happy with how I performed. I feel like my mental was just so focused today. And I really exceeded my expectations.
Yeah, I thought you performed incredibly well, so you should be really happy with that. And I'll throw it over to Wings as well. Like, how do you feel you performed? I think that Cheeto and I were talking about a lot of missed phrases, just a lot of unfortunate misses. Really, it was honestly like some of the sections it looked like you were hitting fine, and then just an unfortunate phrase drop or maybe like miss under chords was just kind of the story today. Because we did think you performed very well.
Yeah, I just played trash. There's no two ways about it. Yeah, I honestly think something was going on with my guitar. My previous one was dying all over the place to switch to my Kramer, but some of those misses were actually like just no idea. Like they just happened. Yeah, I just played trash. That's all I can say. Burdee obviously did very well in the scores they put up, but yeah, I should have definitely played better.
No, it's always tough, especially with some potential like faulty tech. It's always really frustrating, but I think you should be proud of your performance altogether. I know this is the best you've done in playoffs in all 5 seasons that you've played, so you're really improving for sure, especially in the strum compartment. I mean, I don't think anyone coming from seeing you in season 1 would expect you not only to put up a -1, but to pick Buried by Time and Dust first in a match like this. I thought that was just a really full circle moment to see like how much your strumming has improved, because we all know how good your fretting ability is, but it's really cool to see how much you've progressed as a strummer as well.
Yeah, I mean, well, the main reason why I picked Buried first was because it's the strum song I knew I could potentially win on, and then skew the tiebreaker towards Sotwell later on. Because I was doing some player research, but obviously that research was not really that informed, because Burdee has just played a lot better in this match than previous matches. So, yeah. Yeah,
I honestly don't have much. This was quite a performance from both of you, and I do just want to say that once again, you will see both of these players again in Elite League. They performed incredibly well today, and I know that all of you are excited to see them, just as I am. Cheeto, you got anything for either of these players?
Yeah. Oh, there's my mic. Okay. I was just gonna say, I think both these players, both of you showed you're not just specialist players. You know, I think a little bit we had some thoughts going into it that it was going to be really tough for maybe Burdee to match Wings on some of those solo songs, and it'd be tough for Wings to match Burdee on some of those strum songs. But I think both of you guys really showed that you are well-rounded players, and your skills are not just in one specialty. And I gotta say it, Wings, your version of trash is unbelievably good. Because me and Javo were sitting in this call just aghast when you guys were both like putting up these ridiculous scores. And yeah, the note streaks that you guys were both hitting, it was unbelievable. It was incredible to watch. And you know, I think you both should hold your heads high. You both are into Elite League, which is amazing. And yeah, thank you so much for putting on a great show.
Well, I mean, when you FC the Voyager match and then you do that kind of run.
Yeah.
It is always frustrating.
Well, amazing job from both of you.
But yeah, if this VOD does end up getting posted, Buried by Time and Dust, The Voyage, Mission Impossible, those matches were insane. I mean, I think we definitely had some good content. Burdee was I forgot to bring this up. Burdee was caster cursed to high heaven on what was it, Neko Majin? I mean, it was
I think so, yeah.
literally instantaneous. It was hilarious.
I should know by now. I've done this enough times.
Oh, it's okay.
No.
Buddy. I'll forgive it this once.
Oh, gee, thanks.
All right. Well, we do have another match to get to, but Burdee and Wings, thank you so much for playing this match on stream. This was quite a treat to watch, and we will see you both very soon in Elite League.
Yeah, thanks for having us. GG, Wings.
Thank you all.
Thank you so much, guys. Okay.
Yeah, we're now moving on to our second match of the day. And there's a little bit on the line here, because not only will the winner of this match play in the later half of this stream later today, they will also be moving on to Elite League, and the other one will not be.
Wow.
So some pretty high stakes in this match. And I haven't even mentioned the players yet. We have got RadRog against Jolu. Two pretty cracked players. So I think this one's going to be good.
Yeah. I mean, RadRog, a player that just recently took Nados to a tiebreaker on stream. And I don't know a ton about Jolu, but these scores that I see them putting up are unbelievable.
Yeah, and as chat points out, this is the final Elite League spot for grab. So this will be, you are witnessing the last player that could be qualifying for Elite League on stream right now. So
Wow.
yeah, this is high stakes for these players, and I really hope that they can keep their nerves in check, because I know that I would be freaking out in their position right now.
Yes, absolutely. Now,
Yeah.
I don't know if you know strengths, weaknesses of either of these players.
You know, honestly,
I'm not
I think
entirely
both
sure.
of them are really well-rounded. I'm
Okay.
not quite as familiar with either of these two. I know RadRog is more of a newcomer to these open tournaments. I actually believe Jolu is as well. So I think both of them are a little newer to the competitive scene. So it's really, really cool to see two newer players getting this far, and one of them qualifying for Elite League.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
we'll have to see what happens. I'm seeing in chat that maybe a little bit solo leaning for both of them. I think when I refed Rogs and Jolu's matches respectively, I think they pretty much were good on every song. It was pretty well rounded all around.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe if we get any info on the picks and bans, we could maybe get a little insight to
Yeah.
what their strengths are. But I mean, so far they've as you said, RadRog taking down or almost taking down Nados, bringing them to the brink in a tiebreaker, but unfortunately falling to them. And I believe Holu's last match was defeating Bozzy, if I'm not mistaken.
Wow.
I think I have the
Yeah.
challenge up. I can look.
Sure.
So yeah, these players' routes were RadRog defeated Lefty God, which is, I think everyone in here knows Lefty God is
Yes.
an insane player. Great win for RadRog, and not before falling to Nados in the round of 8, and then Holu lost to one of the favorites in this tournament, JDSmitty, and then had beaten Bozzy. Yeah, so yeah, beating a very good player in Bozzy as well. Bozzy's also a pretty big tournament veteran, so that's a great result for them. And we are getting our bans in now, Cheeto, if you want to read those off.
Sure, yeah. We got Scales of Sorrow by RadRog, and Holu's banning Breeding Exile. So, gives us a little bit of a clue.
Yeah, kind of going along with our original assumption of solo leading. Both of those songs have incredibly fast, bursty strumming, which I think is the hardest strumming skill set in this set list. I think both of them probably have the willpower to get through something like Buried by Time and Dust, and I think Cracks of Light is just more of a consistency check than anything, and still involves a lot of fretting with it as well.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. I think Scales of Sorrow was, in my personal opinion, the hardest strum song. And is Breeding Exile, is that the boss strum?
That's the boss, yeah. It's hard.
Well, yeah,
It's really
come
hard.
on. Yeah. Yeah.
Ooh, and we're going with a song we did not see in the first match with Full Speed X.
Oh, here we go. Okay.
And I think it's worth mentioning that this is RadRog's pick. There was no defer in this match. RadRog banned first and will be picking this song first. Yeah, this song is nuts. I need to look up the path for this so I can know what I'm talking about. Yeah, and I think we have confirmed from broadcast that we are able to send the players through. So here we go.
All right, let's see. It's so exciting to see relative newcomers and like learn about them. You know, see what their skills are and how they match up against some of the veteran players.
Yeah, absolutely. I think both of these players are clearly very experienced in Clone Hero itself, but even as newcomers to the competitive scene, they have already made quite a name for themselves in this first year of playoffs.
Absolutely. Here we go.
This path literally looks like fast part activate.
Yeah.
Oh, quite a difference in highway length here.
Yeah, I was gonna mention that.
Oh, that's a phrase drop from Rad.
Oh.
This song looks so hard on Holu's screen. I can't know.
I know, it's like he's got a towel over the top of its screen or something.
Oh no. Maybe an over from
hell.
trying to whammy. So we are on equal star power now.
Okay.
Oh, and Holu with another drop there. Oh, Rock with a perfect solo.
Wow.
Really good.
Rock settling in after that first miss. Now starting to find the
approaching-
rhythm.
Yeah, approaching an 800 note streak.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow.
Holu's starting to have some more drops in there, unfortunately.
Yeah. Both players. Oh.
The second time that's happened on a sustain for Holu. Interesting.
Yeah, it is. And that's gonna bring the gap out a little. Oh, but a miss.
Dog misses there. They've got a pretty comfortable lead right now, but I mean, this song is pretty note dense, and it's I think it's the longest non-tiebreaker. So there's a lot of opportunities to come back for Holu here.
They both get the chimneys.
Ooh. Wow.
Wow.
This is insane.
Both hit. Yak from Rock, surely. There it is.
Yeah, and they've got quite a bit more star power than Holu here, so they are gonna...
Wow.
Are they getting this overlap? They are!
Not sure if that's good or not. I don't really know the path for this one.
I don't believe it is. I'm looking at it right now. The next act should be a 3+1, and they're only gonna have 2 phrases by the time that activation comes up. But I don't think RadRog will be complaining, as they're looking at about a 45k lead right now.
Yeah. One more solo, I suppose, but this is really where Holu's gonna have to start chewing back at this lead slow and steady.
Yeah, they are sending an activation here. That'll close the gap a little bit. Oh, but that won't help. That was a miss.
Look at these guys. Oh my gosh. Oh, stop it. Oh my
God.
gosh.
Vlog. Wow.
Wow, both of
The
them.
ROG is rad right now. My goodness.
Oh, he's so rad.
He's so rad.
He's super rad right now.
Oh my gosh.
Back to the chimneys.
And both players nailing them.
Wow.
Oh, I'm just like fanboying over these matches right now. Like these
know.
players are so good. We just watched Wings and Burdee deliver an unbelievable performance, and now RadRog and Jolu are absolutely delivering and following that up beautifully.
Yeah, this is unreal. Oh my gosh. Both overlapping. RadRog's gonna come out of this with the solo boneless, and that's gonna shut the door.
Yeah, that'll just about do it. And that was a perfect solo.
Goodness.
Wow. A 1900, note streak, and -4. Oof.
Get out of here, man. This is ridiculous.
I mean, let's put it in perspective. A -44 is insane from Holu.
It is.
But then you follow it up with a -4. My goodness, man.
Wow. Wow.
Quite a statement, not only winning your first song, but by putting up quite a solid performance.
Absolutely. All
Yeah,
right,
so
first pick from Jolu.
Yeah, this will be really interesting to see. And we see another new song that we didn't see in the first match. We'll see A New World at 125.
Okay, this is an interesting pick. I think some people consider this out of the whole set list on the easier side, so maybe Jolu going for a consistency pick. Yeah, this will be interesting to see.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. I definitely think that Jolu definitely has a lot of strengths in some of the, like you said, maybe a little more tame stuff. I think maybe the bosses might favor RadRog a little bit, or some of the more intense picks, but I would absolutely say this song is a coin flip.
Yes,
We did see Rog with an early miss there. This worked out pretty well for them last time, so we'll see.
That's right. That strumming pattern is deceptively hard. You have to stay locked in with your tempo, or else you'll overstrum or miss it somewhere.
I also want to take a second in this slow section to point out all the Spanish-speaking people in chat supporting Jolu. We love to see that. We're seeing a lot of supporters for RadRog as well, but have to shout out the Spanish-speaking people. I don't speak Spanish, unfortunately, so I don't think they can understand what I'm saying, but we love you all.
Yeah, I remember when ROG played at Natos, and all of the Natos supporters came out, and I was hoping to see some, a little bit of. I was wondering if there would be some feuding between the fan bases, but
that's not what we want to happen here.
Oh no! By the way, that was not the hope, but it's great to see everyone come out and support.
Right. Oh, and Holder's gonna drop under SP.
One miss for each, but one of them more detrimental.
Yeah, I think Holder dropped the second time under SP there, so that swung the lead back in ROG's favor by about 6K.
Wow.
Oh, thanks, Luna. I'm assuming you've relayed my my thoughts. Both players with a lot of star power. This is going to be a big activation.
Yeah.
Last little strumming bit before the solo comes, and that solo is sweepy. So we'll see how these players can handle it.
Need the phrases. Both hit, both whammy. All right, who hits, who misses? Both hit. Wow.
Solo may be over, but they're still gonna have to sweep a little bit.
Yes, they are.
The cleaning's not done yet. Still gotta get out those brooms. Wow.
Wow.
Really impressive.
And both players into 4 digits for the note streak. ROG about to
great
get
all out.
Okay.
Wow. Yeah, Holo approaching 1,300. Yeah, this is... I mean, it's really devastating that only one of these players can advance into Elite League. And let alone just in this tournament. Like, they're both so deserving. I mean, look at these guys.
100%. Wow. Unbelievable.
Wow. We've seen both players miss in this section before. Oh, and Holu does miss there. Oh.
Wow.
That doesn't quite do it yet, but I think it's going to take a pretty devastating miss for Holu to come back from that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and with that, getting this last phrase, I think that's just going to seal it right there.
Wow.
Wow.
What a showing for both.
That was
kidding me. This
unbelievable.
is insane.
I think, did RadRog only have the one miss in the intro? They did.
Yep. Just the one.
Wow. Yeah, I bet that reverse choke has got to sting a little bit. But I mean, it hold it with a -3.
Unreal.
I mean, how many players do you think that would have beaten? Holu's score. I
Oh.
mean, that was ridiculous.
Yeah. To make it to this point in the tournament, I mean, the cream has risen to the top, and
Absolutely.
you can clearly see it on display here.
Yeah, I hope Holu isn't too discouraged after that performance because I mean, those have got to be two of the best scores we've seen.
Yeah.
Ooh,
said it
it's
earlier.
chemical warfare.
Are we on 3 unheard songs? We didn't hear any of these in the last match.
We are. We're on all unique songs so far.
Wow, wow, wow.
Yeah, you guys are really getting to see the full set list today. I think the next song's gonna be new too, potentially. Who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna run out of songs pretty soon.
Yeah, we'll get some Little Red Riding Hood, and then, you know.
What else we
Cycle
got?
over
We
to-
got Labyrinth still.
Yeah.
All right. Now I saw that Holu had an insane miscount on this song in their previous match. So I am not
Interesting.
surprised with this pick at all. But I bet RadRog is going to be pretty good at this one too. Ooh, early miss from Holu.
Looked like an overstrum.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that was under SP, which is why this
Yeah.
lead is just a little bigger than usual.
Yeah. For those who don't know, when you are under star power, your multiplier is doubled. So if you drop a note and that gets reset back down, it balloons the lead gap a little.
Yeah, we do see both players miss right before this chorus section with the chords. They're both gonna get this one phrase act, it looks like. Yeah, and then they're both gonna send it. Holu really either overstrumming or maybe just missing a few notes in this section. I'm guessing they. Oh no! Oh no! That's
big.
a big phrase miss. Because look at the difference in star power after all that whammy from Rog there.
Wow.
Yeah, after seeing Holu's scores on this song, I know this is unfortunately far from their best.
Yeah, and especially with this section, with the way that the tempos and BPM works out, this is a section you want to hit everything in.
Right, and even with a few of those intermittent chords in there, you need to hit this.
Yeah.
Now, this
That's-
lead is
man.
pretty big right now. However,
Yeah.
I will not call this song until the solo is over.
Agreed.
Yeah, we're not even halfway through this song. We've got a ways to go.
Yeah, I mean, you said it earlier. Both of these players are putting up elite league performances, and it's just unfortunate that neither can make it. Or not
Yeah,
both can't make it. Yeah.
Oh!
Wow.
Oh, and Holu almost hit that entire section. I think that was an awesome choke.
Oh my goodness.
Did Rock hit that too?
Frog missed, I think, 1 or 2.
And
But
maybe right
Holu-
before the solo started, they missed.
Oh my goodness. The
They had,
only note.
they had a perfect solo.
Wow, did they? Oh. Okay. If there's any time to bring this back, it's now.
Yeah, it's. I mean. Yeah, Holu's got a little bit of the SP advantage after that miss, so I think. Rock's just not missing that much is the problem.
Yeah. This section is gonna be good. It's gonna bring it closer temporarily, but a full bar. there's the act. Wow.
Yeah, there is a lot of this song left, but honestly, I don't think there's enough left. And I think the rest of the song is, although there's some goofy tap notes at the end, I just don't think there's enough, unfortunately, for Jolu.
I think I agree. If this song, if the gap was a little smaller, you know, this could still go either way, but unfortunately, RadRog has built up a nice safety net here.
Yeah, even with that miss, I just don't. Yeah, like even with that one, they're hitting enough of these under SP where it's just not going to be enough. Those early misses from Jolu were just a little too much to come back from.
Agreed. I think it's really important to put these scores into context. You know, looking at it just like this, it might be like, wow, one player is dominating the other player, but both of these players are at the top of the game. To make it to this
100%.
point, both these players are top tier players, and they deserve their flowers.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, I'm looking at their. Yeah, Jolu had a -8 the last time.
Wow.
On this song. So yeah, they're obviously very good at this song, and yeah, still a -14 is very, very, very impressive. And
yeah,
sometimes it's just like sometimes your opponent is just playing a little better than you. It's tough because both players are playing exceptionally well.
Yeah, RadRog has just got a consistency that is almost unmatched. I mean, the consistency out of RadRog right now is carrying this to the score that it's at.
And we do see the Voyage get picked, and well, the end of the non-repeating songs, unfortunately. But I mean, if we're gonna see a repeat song, I think I would choose it to be this one. I mean,
Agreed.
This was an insane match between Wings and Burdee, putting up some insane runs. So let's see if these two can replicate that insane match. I honestly have no doubt that both of these players could exceed our expectations again.
Absolutely.
Oh no, that's a phrase drop from Jolu. We need a cowbell for this song. I'll try to do this with my water bottle. If I can pull this, I can't pull the straw out, but like, you know, I could have done something like that, but I tried. I think the effort was enough.
Big miss under phrase for Rad. The lead is not as substantial anymore. It's about a 7K lead now. So,
yeah, and after that phrase drop from Jolu, that is huge because they are right back in this match.
Absolutely. RadRog's gonna get a little off the solo bonus.
They also have a bit more whammy as well, and on a song this note dense, that might be the difference between like 3 notes.
That's a great point, yeah.
Both are going to hold on to the star power until this part.
Wow.
Looks like the right decision. Yeah, look at, I mean, I think Rad got about 5 more notes there.
I think you're right on that, yeah. Brought it out to just over 10K.
And thank you to chat for keeping us honest on the path.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, but yeah, like leave it to the Elite League qualifiers who can actually play this song without missing thousands upon thousands of notes.
Right.
We do see Jolu miss there, but just not an SP, not a phrase. That's recoverable.
Absolutely. Yeah, if you think I'd be able to stay on path on a song like this, you are sorely mistaken.
Not even close.
Perfect solo from RadRog. Oh my goodness.
This song is actually like kind of a banger too.
Oh yeah.
Both are gonna send it here. Oh, and both avoid that overlap very nicely. I'm assuming that looked pretty clean.
It did.
ROG eclipsing a 1,200 note streak here.
Wow.
And now
Able to hit-
1,300.
To be able to hit this so consistently, even with those strum notes tossed in there, is just ridiculous from both of these players.
I mean, yeah, they're both looking incredible so far on this song. Yeah, this is where my fingers would have fallen off. And it's like, they both have a perfect solo about 2/3 of the way into this song, when your hands are probably feeling so tired. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
And ROG actually eclipses the 1,000 note streak as well as ROG approaches 1,900.
Yeah, wow. Oh my goodness. This, you know what? This might come down to the end. The final part at the end.
100%. One player hits it, the other doesn't. That could decide it, because that is a big...
Ooh,
there's
it's
a
gonna
little
be
bit of
closer.
that. That's gonna inch Jolu a little bit back. They've got to hold on here, though.
Wow.
ROG with another miss. Oh, Jolu missed a lot of notes there. I think they also missed
my
the
goodness.
SP there.
Okay.
Oh,
not
and
bad.
apparently, ROG had a bad act. I think.
Uh-oh. Buckle up. This is going to come down to the wire.
It's going to be the outro. I think you're absolutely right.
Wow.
It's really close right now. Both players have got to hold here.
Here it is. ROG's probably going to act a little earlier. Or maybe just hold and get the, yeah.
Oh my god, this is so
Stop
fast.
it. Oh my
God.
gosh. There's
Oh,
both
both
miss.
missing. Wow.
Oh, man.
Wow. Oh my goodness.
Look at these scores.
Wow.
Wow. Minus 15, minus 26. Unreal.
I mean, you gotta feel for Jolu here a little bit, right? Like, I mean,
Yeah.
they're right there on every song. Every single song has been so close.
Yeah.
Yeah, and as chat points out, both over 1.1 million is insane on that song.
Unbelievable. Yeah.
And we are looking at
Wow.
Jolu's back against the wall. They are down, I believe that's 4-0, right? Am I mistaken? That is 4-0. So this will be their final counter pick, and they are ending it off with a bang. They are picking Labyrinth of Betrayal, yet another
Wow.
song that we have not seen yet.
Wow. I mean, really a man of the people, picking all new songs here.
Yeah, see, he should have picked Little Red Riding Hood. Come on.
Yeah. Yeah.
All jokes aside, Jolu needs to win this song to extend this match. So
Yeah.
we'll see how this goes. This song is nuts.
Early miss from Rad. I can't imagine that's gonna make or break the song, though.
Oh, but that miss might. That was a praise from
might.
Jolu. Oh.
Songs like this make me wonder how in the world people chart stuff like this.
I know. Like, thank goodness for these amazing charters, right? It's like,
Yeah, exactly. You have to go back and listen to that and be like, did I chart that chord correctly? And it's like,
oh.
okay, one miss from Jolu here. It's just about 20K, which is not, I mean, RadRog's not out of the woods yet, but...
Not even close. This song has so many twists and turns. Like, every section is just a little bit different. It's... Are there, like, any repeating sections?
I literally have no idea.
Oh my god,
But
look at
that
the...
miss?
Look at the lead
Yeah.
switch now. That axe from
Yeah.
Jolu was incredible. They comboed through that
Yeah.
whole thing.
Just missing under chords for Rad in that star power brought it all the way back.
Yeah, we're at a pretty much an even ball game right here.
Consistency.
Oh,
Like,
missing
say that
into the
one miss.
activation?
It'll be okay. Maybe. It was an under phrase.
Yeah, Frog's gonna come out of that with maybe... Oh, that's gonna be a little more than it now. I think it's
Yeah.
about a 6K lead.
Yeah. Both finding the phrases, which is good.
And we're not even halfway done with this song.
Wow.
Oh,
Unfortunate.
this little Allstrom section looks so fun.
Yeah, right?
Both players missing just a couple times under that, but hitting those all-important phrases.
Yes. Oh my goodness, this looks hard. Are you
So
serious? That's ridiculous.
Yeah, that section's so dumb.
Wow.
Oh, and look at the BPM in this section. Look at how slow that star power is going
Oh
down.
my goodness, you're right.
This is a huge activation for both players.
Oh
Ow.
my goodness.
Oh, it's Hug almost comboing through that whole thing.
Ooh.
We do see a phrase miss from Jolu there, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So Rog is going to be entering the back 25% of the song with just over a 12K lead.
Yeah.
Less than that, I think. Maybe 11.
Might be, yeah. Wow.
And we're getting confirmation from chat that both of them are on pass, meaning they have done their homework.
Oh
So
my
props to
goodness.
them on that.
Oh my goodness.
And that's under an activation. That's so dumb.
Wow.
I think that this might just do it. I think Rog comboed through too much of that
Yeah.
for Jolu to come back from.
That was a oh my gosh, this song.
Yeah, I think there might still be a little bit left, but I don't think there's 40K worth.
Agreed.
Chat, get your claps in chat. Get your hearts in chat for Holu. What a tournament they've had. Maybe even throw them a vamos, because that's one word I know in Spanish. And a huge congratulations to RadRog claiming the final spot in Elite League. Well deserved. An unbelievable performance from them.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, yeah, if you are RadRog's next opponent later today, looking at a 5-0 victory, I'd be quaking.
Yeah, I think I believe is it Smitty?
Oh, is it?
I gotta no, I think I gotta look at that. That's a good call out.
I thought Switch was playing Geo. Maybe I'm wrong about that.
You are right. You're right. Yeah, we'll get an update on that. It's Vark. It's Vark.
Ah, Vark. Wow, yeah, Vark has also put up some. That will be. Oh, I gotta watch that. That's gonna be a crazy.
I know. I think you and I are gonna be in chat for that one, and I would love if at least Rog is down for an interview.
I think they both are.
Oh, both are wonderful, and I believe shout out to. First of all, I want to shout out Luna for translating for Holu this entire match,
yes.
And as we welcome both of our players into the VC, RadRog, Holu. I think I speak for everybody watching when I say this felt like the furthest thing from a 5-0 match. Every single song felt incredibly close. Both of you performed insanely well. I'll start with you, RadRog, because you have now claimed the final spot in Elite League. How are you feeling after that match?
Well, I'm pretty excited to made it to the Elite League. That was one of my goals I had when starting out the tournament. I was pretty nervous though. I knew Holu was going to be pretty tough, and there were some matches there while I was watching the 1 and 2 just flicker on my screen because he's just on my heels, you know. And then I looked in the match reporting before, so I picked Labyrinth, and I luckily just practiced Labyrinth a little while ago, or else he almost beat me on that anyway. But yeah, that was an awesome match. He's a tough competitor.
I mean, there were so many times that could have just a little swing here or there would have won you the match. A New World was barely like 2 notes apart in miscount. I have to put an F in the chat for that reverse choke, by the way. That was unfortunate, but yeah, regardless, you played incredibly well. And Holu, I'm not sure if Luna is going to translate for me or not, but I would love to at least shout out how well you played. You were so well supported in chat. Like, a lot of your Spanish-speaking friends were in there supporting you, and you played absolutely unbelievable. And I hope you can walk away from this performance feeling very good.
Que jugaste muy bien y tuviste increíble, un soporte increíble del chat con todos que hablan español aquí.
Okay, muchas gracias. Gracias a todas las personitas que pasaron. Espero que se hayan portado bien.
Thanks to everyone that showed up. I hope y'all actually behaved well.
They were well behaved, don't worry. And yes, Holu, it really is a shame that both of you couldn't qualify for Elite League, because these were some incredible scores, and I really hope that we see you in next season of the Open and in future tournaments as well, because it was an absolute pleasure watching you.
Sí se portaron bien, y esto quiere decir que es muy desgraciadamente que no pueden tú y RadRog meterse a la Elite League, y que ojalá te metes a los próximos Opens.
Oh, sí, claro. De hecho, espero, bueno, ya es mi tercero y año con año espero para poder jugar el torneo. Pero sí, espero para el siguiente año estar presente.
And he's showing up next year. It's been his 3rd Open this season as well.
Awesome. Yeah, great to hear that. And yeah, once again, shout out to Luna for translating for us and for Holu. We appreciate her so much. And I do want to turn the attention to
I appreciate
RadRog.
that as well.
Oh.
Also, the translation and stuff. Thank you for doing that.
I do also real quick want to shout out Faith. She's the one who got me to translate for Kana originally, and then it just kind of went from there.
Nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's a really
beautiful.
cool
Yeah.
ability to have.
Yeah, so thank you, Faith, as well. And before both of you leave, I do want to address RadRog. You have also not only qualified for Elite League, but won the right to play on stream later today as well, because you will be facing off against Vark in the
Oh
back half
yeah.
of this stream. How are you feeling about that?
Super nervous. Vark, I think, is one seed. I think it's like 4 versus 5. So this is gonna be super tough.
Yeah, I mean, both of you have been performing incredibly well. I think that match is going to be awesome.
Yeah, I think
so.
I saw the stream yesterday or something, and I saw Vark FC buried by time and dust. I was like, oh man, here we go. So yeah, it should be a really, really fun match though. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I will absolutely be joining some of you in chat to watch that one. And the other match that is happening on that stream, as we've alluded to, is JDSmitty versus GiometriQ, the two squeezing gods.
Gonna be
if you
insane.
will. I think both of them are very good at pathing and very good at clone hero, just in general.
Yeah, just
So-
good at quote
That's a good observation. Yeah.
Yeah, like it's just it'll be a treat to watch. If you all liked what you saw here, please stick around for the back half of the stream for our 2 upcoming matches. This will be incredible. But yeah,
Yeah, I've never done a double header before. Hopefully, I got some stamina left. No, I'm just kidding.
yeah, if you perform anything like this, I think you should be okay.
Hopefully.
Gio, do you have anything to add?
I did, and then I forgot. No, I remember. Okay, so it's pretty much what you said about, RadRog earning the spot to play Vark in the back half of this, and I'm just terribly excited to watch both of the matches in the back half of this stream. Yeah, I loved to see the support from both of these players. I love to see, how much love and support gets shown in the chat. It's great, and we were talking. It's super, super unfortunate that both of these players don't have the chance to make Elite League, because you both put up Elite League performances. And other than that, great job to you both. Thank you so much, and yeah.
All right, thank you guys. I will see you guys later on at 5 o'clock.
Yeah,
All
thanks
right.
to you both. Yeah.
You guys have a good rest of your evening. Thank you. It was awesome again. It was cool meeting you, Holu. If you ever want to play or anything, just hit me up. We can call online and stuff.
Oh yeah.
All right, I'll see you guys in a little bit.
Okay. See ya. Thanks for playing. Okay.
All
and
right, so it sounds like I'm getting confirmation from broadcast that we will be cutting this stream to prepare for the back half of matches. I believe you all can tune in again at
It's still on
in-
time, I think.
in about an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I believe if you check back in an hour, Cheeto and I will look a little different as we are no longer casting. Hopefully, we can join you in chat. But yeah, before we cut it, Cheeto, any closing thoughts?
Yeah, be here in an hour as this tournament really comes to a head. Things are going to get very, very exciting. Me and Java are both getting haircuts in between, so we'll look a little different. But
Yeah, a little voice change too, as I'm told.
yeah, a little bit. Yeah, my hair kind of controls how deep my voice is. But it'll be here. I'll be there, so be there.
Yeah, all right. We will want to say thank you once again to Luna and Faith for reffing/translating for us. We appreciate both of them so much. Thanks to Broadcast, which is Mason today. Shout out Mason for pretty much doing all your broadcasting ref tool needs. And yeah, thanks to everyone in chat who showed up as well.
And our sponsors, thank you to Cracks for sponsoring.
Yeah, there you go.
I think I hit all the bases.
Yeah, I think you got it. All
Okay.
right. Well, yeah,
Sweet.
I think we are good to cut it down. We will
All right.
hopefully see you all very, very soon.
All right. See you guys.
Is left to play 4 total matches before we get to our grand finals stream. It has been a long time coming, but I know I am incredibly excited, as is my partner, Brad Master Brad. Insane matchup coming up right here, right away in just a minute.
Oh my goodness, the man, glad to be here with you. This matchup on paper, if you look at the seeds, you see that difference. You see that 7 versus 14 seed. But if you look at on paper the scores that they've put up, oh my god, this matchup is essentially evened out. It's absolutely insane. I cannot wait to see how this plays out.
The 2 numbers you should trust the least as fans of this matchup are 7 and 14. That would be the seeds of these 2 players. They play nothing like it. GiometriQ was the de facto number 1 seed going into the tournament, was the de facto number 1 seed going into the playoffs, but following a surprising tiebreaker, had to end up being brought down to 14 based on playoff results, but since then has been rock solid once again, as we expected, Brad. Both players have put up some phenomenal scores. If we want to just talk through some of the differences and similarities between these 2 players going into this match. But before we get into that, just want to also remind you all that following this match, we'll be seeing RadRog, who played earlier today and advanced to this point. We'll be playing against Vark for a chance to continue on to the tournament to lower round 4s. That's a lower round 3 matchup, RadRog versus Vark, coming up after this one. But back to Smitty versus GiometriQ. Brad.
Yeah, it's interesting. I was looking at the predictions for this particular matchup to see how many people actually had these 2 matched up, and only 11 people did not have them. So 18 of the 29 who did predictions did have this particular matchup that we're about to see. And yeah, if we look at some of their scores, I'm not going to go into specifics right now. We can maybe save that for a little bit later. But one particular piece of information that I think is really interesting is on Buried by Time and Dust. Their PBs that we've seen in match from both players is tied at 616070. That's absolutely incredible. That does have the potential for us to see a tiebreaker on this song, and that would be absolutely insane. What do you think, man?
That would be absolutely insane. And I mean, these 2 players, incredibly similar in terms of how you look at their playoff performance, both in their scores, but also just in how they've played against their respective opponents. For example, I know that Gio has gone... sorry, we're dealing with some stuff behind the scenes. Gio has gone 13 and 4 in songs in this tournament, so lost 4 total songs, has won 13. JDSmitty has gone 14 and 3, 1 song better than Gio. We'll see how it ends up playing out when it comes down to it in the match. We'll be getting there shortly. We are dealing with some stuff, I mean, this is classic CSD stuff. We're trying our best, all right, chat? We appreciate everybody joining all the streams. The hype behind all the streams has always been great. We've loved seeing all the interaction in here. We've loved seeing how many people have been enjoying this season so far. Again, we are coming down to the wire. The final stream is coming up soon. Those dates will be finalized sooner rather than later next week. The only matches that need to get done before Thursday are going to be the lower round 4 matches. Then we'll have the stage set for the grand finals. But all that being said, it is finally time to get into some bans and some picks. Brad, do you have any predictions for the bans?
Well, interesting that you mentioned it. I would suspect, just based on some data that we've managed to collect here, Gio has historically gone a New World or Chemical Warfare for their ban, and Smitty has gone Cracks of Light or C-Squin for theirs. So we'll have to see if maybe they change it up. Maybe they notice how their opponent played during some matches where they feel maybe they don't have to necessarily ban a song. So we'll have to see how it plays out. But those songs are where I suspect we'll see our bans come from.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if there's any gamesmanship that's been going on here. Both of these players, seasoned CSC CS tournament veterans. They have played their fair share of tournaments, so they know how much research goes into each match, and they know that their opponents know that. So it's going to be interesting to see if any of that extra thought plays into anything here. Maybe if there's a surprise ban, maybe something that someone's been holding close to the vest leading up to this moment for this specific match. Again, going into this tournament, this is the 1 seed versus the 3 seed, now 7 and 14, but just to amplify how strong these players are, both incredibly well-balanced, incredible squeezers and pathers, and also a great skill ceiling compared to the field here in this open tournament. 2 of the best players that you'll find.
Yeah, what you got to look at here is you've got 2 players that are already confirmed for Elite League. So obviously very, very strong in their various different skill sets, and tournament players that I know I'm not surprised to see. I'm sure the community is not surprised to see them being in this position right now. And the great thing for both these players is whoever does lose it is certainly still not out and could make that lower bracket run to potentially meet back up with the winner of this matchup. Absolutely incredible with the implications that we can see here.
Yeah, so we talked about that tiebreaker that Gio did end up on. Other than that tiebreaker, Gio since then has gone 5-1 victory and 5-0 victory in those 2 winners round matches that they've played beforehand. Those matches coming against Solo and Ducky, so 2 very strong players that they played and made quick work of, to be quite frank. So Gio coming in with some nice momentum. Smitty too, having played Holu 1-5-0 and then beat Burdee, who we saw earlier today, upset the 1 seed Wings in the lower round 3 matchup that they just played. Smitty beat Burdee 5-2, just to show how strong of a player how strong of a player Smitty is. Smitty also, if you remember, made it very far last year, was 1 match away from making the grand final stream, was about lower round 6 or 7. There was no reseeding, so it was a very long bracket. But as I say that, and as I interrupt myself here, we do have our bans in. Smitty will not be deferring, and said Smitty will be picking their ban. It is going to be Breeding Exile off the table. Gio bans Full Speed X. So those are your 2 bans, the Strum and the Solo, off of the table.
If we look at the scores that we have gathered here, that is a very smart ban on Gio's part, because Smitty has outperformed Gio on this song if you go toe-to-toe, best-to-best, by almost 50k. It's about a 45k difference in PB score on Full Speed X. Very smart ban there from Gio. We don't really have a lot of data on Breeding Exile, but perhaps Smitty believes that Gio is just too strong on that one. And we could also see some tiebreaker implications being in their mind when they pick that ban, but with there being a lot of unknowns, this could also be a very smart pick by Smitty.
With players as strong as this, as close as this, and as well calculated as this, there is no doubt in my mind that tiebreaker scenarios have entered the minds of both of these players leading in and during the practice time of them leading up to this. Their biggest matchup for each of these players in this entire tournament, you've got to remember, this tournament started in about March, and since then, this is the biggest match for both of these players by far.
Oh, absolutely. It's one of those things where you know that neither one of them are underestimating their opponent. They are going in with the mindset that this is going to be a slog, an absolute bloodbath, as we've mentioned time and time again during these tournaments. When you have players like this, I mean, that's kind of just what you expect. So neither are going to pull punches. Very good friends, both of them, but they both really want this. You can really tell just by the practice and dedication that they've put in and continue to put in and time out. It's going to be a tough one, I think, for both of them, both mentally and emotionally, and for some of these songs, physically.
We will see that first pick coming in shortly. Do want to make one correction. Thank you, Vark, for pointing it out. It was actually Gio beating Guac 5-1, not Ducky. That was Solo who played Ducky and won 5-1. Shout out to Solo. That's a very strong win. But Gio beat the 3 seed Guac 5-1, and then beat Solo 5-0. Thank you for that correction. Guac was a phenomenal player, the 3 seed in this playoff, so that was an even more impressive win. Not to besmirch Ducky or Burdee as well when I talked about the biggest matchups, just knowing the history of these 2 players in tournaments and how they finished before. Certainly a giant match for both these players. I have a feeling if you asked them both, would you see the other one at some point in the playoff, they would probably say yes. We have our first pick, and Brad, I cannot wait for this one. It's buried by time and dust.
Okay, folks, this right here, both of them, as I had mentioned earlier, if you're just jumping in, I'm going to point it out again. These two's, their PB on this song is tied at 616,070 to the tick. If they perform at PB level during this right here, the next song will be double points. So this is absolutely insane. And because Smitty did not defer, Smitty picked first. If this ties it, Gio will get to pick the next song, being worth double points.
Very, very interesting factors coming into this one. And the thing to consider is that Smitty was just dealing with some internet issues. That is the reason we had to pause and wait for a minute. You've got to hope that that doesn't come up in a match like this. That's the last thing you want, is outside things happening. But even with that said, if nothing happens, it's still something that can enter your mind and create some distraction. Let's see if both of these players can fight through it and jump right in, be right on pace. It's going to be a long set of strumming here. We're going to need to see these players settle into this rhythm and see who can last the longest and stay consistent.
The key with this song is I believe there are 3 activations, potentially 4 depending on the particular path, but because there are a few activations through the song, missing a single SP phrase can be absolutely detrimental in a match like this.
Missing it all on a song like this is even more detrimental when it comes to these two types of play, when it comes to the squeezing game as well as the consistency game. Gio, a player who has over 100 full album FCs, so consistency has never been in question for Gio. Now, at speeds like this, consistency becomes a bit more of a question because it's more of an endurance factor.
Yeah, absolutely. And right now, we're seeing Samba. I really couldn't tell you who's currently technically in first at the moment. I believe possibly Gio, maybe 200, could have gotten a squeeze in there.
We will not guess because it will become apparent to us shortly, but both players still on FC, very, very similar activations, and you can expect that throughout the match. Both these players will not be using the 50-50 path, I'll tell you that much.
Oh, absolutely. I do believe, I know Gio for certain, and every activation they go for, they're going for a squeeze. They're pushing it to the absolute maximum, and honestly, I would suspect Smitty, they're probably doing the same exact thing.
Gio is in fact ahead by 200 points, so saith Mr. CSC Miscellany in chat. And it's going to be, oh my gosh, it's back to Samba. That is insane. So yeah, we're still really close. And it's going to be that way the entire time unless there is that ever important drop.
Yeah, it's
tied again.
Absolutely incredible. That would mean, and at least I would think, that Gio got a squeeze earlier, did not get one the second act, and the reverse there for Smitty. Absolutely insane. It could come down to just an activation here to see who takes the song.
So to explain it to those who might not understand, this means that Gio was able to get one more note in their star power than Smitty for the first act, and then Smitty did the exact same thing on the second act, so we are now tied going into a 2,000 note streak for both players.
When you're at this level, and we're seeing the activation here from both, when you're at this level, 200 points absolutely matters, and I don't know.
We're tied. I think we're still tied. I saw it when it was a pause. We are tied again. So it is Smitty and Gio still tied, 3 activations in. We could see a double FC, meaning that next song will be worth 2 points.
You're absolutely right, man. Oh my god!
Smitty and Gio's got the lead!
Oh, that's so heartbreaking. That is so heartbreaking. You know that Smitty's going to be kicking themselves for having that drop in such a tightly contested matchup.
And now the pressure on Gio cannot miss here. There's the activation. There's the response by Smitty. Absolutely gut-wrenching for Smitty. It is Gio. Hold strong. FC, song 1. Gio's up 1-0.
I really don't know what to say here. It's just a heartbreak, absolute heartbreak. We did actually see Gio PB just now by 200 points with that score, and I suspect Had Smitty not missed, we may have seen the same. It's hard to speculate there, but there we have it. The FC from Gio, the unfortunate miss there by Smitty, and you just have to move on to the next song. Your focus has to be the next song.
It is heavyweight versus heavyweight, and it is nothing that we didn't expect out of these two players with song number 1, Buried by Time and Dust, and it's going to be Smitty with the pick again.
Now, something that we have not mentioned yet that I want to go ahead and point out now, when it comes to advantages from the different skill sets that we display with our songs, for the solo picks, it leans Smitty. Their PBs have been better than Gio's overall. When it goes Strum, it is also leaning Smitty, but when you look at the hybrid, it is almost exclusively Gio. So it's going to be interesting to see where they navigate these waters if they happen to know this information.
Well, that first Strum pick going to Gio makes the job of Smitty that much more challenging, especially with Full Speed X off of the table. We will see where they go next. We'll see how quick the pick is, too. I said this to someone earlier. Sometimes when you lose your first song pick, if you pick first and you lose, that can throw your entire game plan out the window. Because in theory, that's your strongest song. That's the song you feel the most comfortable about getting a win on. So if you lose that, that adds a whole extra element of pressure to these players that have to make the next song choice. And as players in this tournament know, every song choice matters big time.
Oh, 100%. And in the case of Smitty here deciding on what to pick, I suspect statistically the better pick for them would probably be going either the Voyage or Chemical Warfare. There's not really any data known for Gio on Chemical Warfare, but on the Voyage, Smitty has outperformed. Oh, we're going Little Red Riding Hood.
That's what I was saying, and yet for. Yeah, Little Red Riding Hood is actually the pick here. It is a solo pick, and as we mentioned, a little bit of a strength for Smitty versus Gio. If you compare the high scores, the high score for Smitty, 362. The high score for Gio, 361. Should be a very close one. Another bold pick by Smitty. We will see where it goes here.
It is an interesting strategy, Demand. I'm almost thinking that Smitty knows that Gio's very close in score to some of these picks and maybe wants to get them out of the way so that Smitty can focus on the ones that have a little bit more disparity.
It could be that way. You do want to be careful if you're doing things like that. You cannot fall into a big hole early trying to get cute and do tiebreaker stuff. Not to say that that's what Smitty's doing. It's just a forewarning to any tournament players there thinking about that same strategy. But here we go. That first phrase, rather simple, but you will see here, for those not familiar with the chart, Courting Nightmare in this song. Also very tricky sections here with these double notes in tap notes. You can strum them, but you can miss too, like right there from Smitty. Doesn't drop the phrase though. Both activate same time here, same path as of now.
Yeah, it's one of those things where in a song like this, if you have a miss, unless it's within the real dense part, which we will get to, you have to shake it off. You have to think in your mind, all right, right now, especially in Smitty's case, I'm down one song, I'm down a little bit right now, but there's so much song left, so much match left that I can't let it get inside my head. Just keep focusing on the play.
Another element for Smitty to consider moving forward. We're hearing from Java in chat earlier that miss on Buried by Time and Dust. Apparently a flickering fret. That's the type of thing that mentally can really hurt you in a match. But again, it's all about mental fortitude and fighting through all the elements, all the things you weren't expecting. Activation there from both. Miss there from Gio. Smitty now heavily in the lead in the hardest section of the song. There's a lot of it left though. Let's see if they can make it all the way through here, both getting the overlap. Smitty and Gio now out of that. Another miss from Gio. Will they get that phrase? Yes, they will. Big miss from Gio, but not as big as it could have been, both dropping there. So it's about a 10K lead now for Smitty, who is now in the driver's seat entering the second half of the chart.
Yeah, if I'm in Smitty's position, this is the confidence booster that I would need. Gio probably isn't shaken up as much knowing that they already took that first song that was Smitty's pick, but this has to be a confidence booster from Gio. And we're seeing, or Smitty, excuse me, the consistency that Smitty is holding here with the misses that Gio had, being able to take advantage of the situation, absolutely huge.
This would be a big response here, but a lot of song left, and you can see how sporadic these chords feel. They are all over the place, and they're hidden within these zig patterns. You have to be so careful to stay on task, and if you miss one, it can lead to a cluster of misses, and that's exactly what Smitty's trying to avoid here, doing a very good job now, both at about a 400 note streak.
And it looks like we're coming up to the very end of the song here. Not enough points left. Smitty will take it.
Smitty will take it. It's 1-1, able to stay strong. Gio actually got a couple points back on one of those activations, but it was clearly not enough. Great response from Smitty. -3s on both, but it's going to go to Smitty, clutching it up in the hardest part of the song, and that'll get you wins in this tournament, especially this late, Brad.
Oh, absolutely. Demand, I just want to point out that Smitty did PB. This is a match PB that we're seeing in such a critical match here. Absolutely incredible. And as you said, Smitty held it together in the most crucial part of the song where Gio had a couple misses. They were able to take advantage and ultimately come away with the win. 1-1 match that we're seeing here.
Yeah, both players highlighting there in the sections that what big hands section was the only place they both missed. One extra miss outside of that for Gio, and that ended up being the turning point. And now it's Gio's turn to pick a song for the first time in the match.
Now, it's going to be really interesting because it seems like right now the strategy that we've seen from Smitty, and this may be something we'll have to ask Smitty in post-match interview, is they've seemed to pick matches that both are extraordinarily close on. It could be something that Smitty has had just more comfort on as of late, but now I suspect Gio may go the opposite direction. Gio might look at something that they know they've outperformed Smitty on by a decent margin and might just go for it.
Well, one chance of that is Labyrinth of Betrayal. If you look at the PBs by these two players, it's actually a 45,000 point difference in favor of GiometriQ. That is the largest difference in points. Now, as you mentioned, pretty much all of the hybrids lean GiometriQ right now, so you could think that is where Gio might go. But with the match being 1-1, still might be considering a lot of tiebreaker scenarios, and if that's the case, maybe could go a different direction. We will see.
You're absolutely right. It would be interesting to see if Gio just goes completely off the book and perhaps goes for something we haven't seen from Gio yet. We have not seen Breeding Exile or Labyrinth. Now, I do understand, I believe, just checking back that... let me get confirmation here. Yeah, Breeding Exile is off the table, but Chemical Warfare we could see, and that would be... Oh, we're going into scale. Never mind.
Tales of Sorrows is the pick, and that is going to be at 105% speed. Gio picking the strum pick here. Very tricky song. You talk about tricky chord transitions. This is going to be it. I mean, there are some very missable patterns in this, and both of these players are going to have to be locked in with their methoding to make sure they can be consistent on this one. But when it comes to consistency, as we mentioned in the lead-up, both players, incredibly strong, well-rounded players who are built for songs like this.
Yeah, absolutely. If we look at the numbers that we have, this does favor Smitty as far as PB, but if you look at just general consistency, I think Gio may be slightly more consistent on this song. We'll have to see how it plays out.
We will see. So you see the 3-note chords, some disgusting 3-note chords. If you've only played the console games, you have not seen chords like this often, but it is often here. Smitty with the first miss here early. No phrase misses, though, so they remain equal on star power. Another miss there. It looks like Smitty right now struggling a bit on that chord transition. It's that yellow-blue to the 2 3-note chords that is really the tricky, it's the yellow-blue to the red-blue to the 3-note chord. Here's the fast strumming part, but Gio opening up a big lead early, able to hit all of those transitions incredibly smoothly.
Yeah, absolutely. It's one of those things where those misses that we're seeing could be related to fret flicker, it could be nerves, it could be a number of factors, but that is some of the trickiest chording that you're going to see, and something like this, it's a very, very awkward section to try to hit if you're
cannot emphasize enough how tricky it is. I mean, you talk about you're pressing pressing 2 frets and then transitioning to a 3-note chord that is the 3 frets that aren't being pressed. It's an incredibly uncomfortable change of fretting fingers that these players have to be able to pull off at high speeds at a moment's notice with remembering the path, keeping in mind your opponent and all the other outside factors. Incredibly challenging.
And right now, depending on if they have remote highways enabled or not, this could be a tricky situation that Smitty finds themselves in at the moment. Being down by approximately 30k, there are places where your opponent could just miss due to fatigue and things of the sort, but with a player like Gio, you know you're not really going to see many of those happen, so it's kind of tricky to maintain the mindset that you could still come out of this with a win, but anything's possible.
Anything is possible, but so far it is now looking good for a comeback effort on Smitty's side because Gio looking incredibly comfortable here. 1,200 notes as we approach kind of the cool down section of the song here. Gio, if I'm not mistaken, has multiple Go Rod full album FCs. That is the band that they're playing this song from. So this is a band that Gio is very familiar with already. Both players not getting all the way up to that one act. I don't think it's actually a big deal though, if my knowledge on this path is correct. I mean, this is one of those matches where the players kind of tell you the paths for you because you know both of these players know exactly what they're doing on path.
Oh, absolutely. You know they've done the homework. When an activation happens, you know that it was with thought in mind to activate there. And knowing Gio's whammy in particular, I would suspect that if Gio did not get a full bar there to be able to act, or a half bar rather, you're not supposed to get it. That's what I'm gathering from that information.
Absolutely. But here we go. We got some more break here before those core transitions do come up again here, and some fast strumming as well. So here we go. It's second half. Another drop there for Smitty. This drop from Gio. Unfortunately, FC now off the table. Smitty's going to have to hit that section and count on a couple misses from Gio coming out. Under this star power was the time to make a move. It is still now a 34K lead, I want to say, for GiometriQ that will continue to grow. It is looking, Brad, like it was a great counter pick by Gio. Some great scouting there.
Oh, absolutely. At this point, with I believe only one activation left potentially, this being the last phase of the song.
And Gio has it, and Smitty does not.
Yeah, I don't believe there is an opportunity to catch back up in this song. So looks like Gio will end up taking here. We'll have a 2-1 match on our hands, but Smitty will have the opportunity to punch back.
It is quite a performance there from GiometriQ. 580K. That is a PB by 20,000 points for Gio.
Yeah, it's simply incredible to be able to PB and match at this point in the tournament. It's not something you see very often. Usually you'll see players that'll either kind of maintain or maybe even do slightly worse as a tournament does progress, either because of nerves or what have you. But to continue to PB and improve at this point, it's absolutely incredible.
3 songs played, 3 personal bests by these players in their respective song wins. Will we see a 4th PB by the winning player? We will find out soon. JDSmitty is on the clock. It is time to pick again.
I really think, Demand, that you start to think about the Voyage possibly being in the conversation. The difference between Smitty and Gio on the Voyage is about 40K. It's a very strong pick by Smitty. So I feel like, this might be... Oh, well, here we go. We're going somewhere different. C-Squin.
It is CSQN. This is a song that Smitty is actually in match score about 15 to 20,000 points below Gio's in-match personal best. I would say it's safe to say we can at least expect a personal best out of Smitty. Will it be enough to beat the ever-impressive GiometriQ?
It's hard to say. I feel it's a very interesting pick. We've seen a lot of interesting picks so far from Smitty in this match. Stuff I wouldn't have expected to see either at all in this match or this early. So I am curious to see what the decision was to go with this one, given Gio's consistency on stuff like this.
So here we go. It is song number 4. This is a big swing song. I always talk about the difference between 2-2 versus 3-1 is massive. Hybrid song. You will have some tricky chordings, or some tricky strumming, some tricky fretting. Early miss there from Smitty. Not going to be ultimately too bad, just in single notes. No phrases missed, no missed multiplier on any sustained notes, which could amplify how big a miss is. There's a miss from Gio under ×4, so actually this should swing Smitty potentially into the lead. Not quite. It's actually Smitty still behind by just about 600 points. So here we go.
Really interesting. That is very interesting. We do get our first activation there with the miss being outside of 4x and miss being in 4x, still maintaining that lead. Interesting.
So here we go, getting into this bass solo here. Incredibly tricky to play this stuff. the times where strums can get eaten, those hammer-ons, so tricky to manage with all these interlaced strum notes, as well as those open notes, which add an extra layer of difficulty. Missing on the chord ascend there was Smitty. It looked like both players will get that activation, so still on path are both players.
If I were in Smitty's position, I'd be breathing a little bit, having that miss just before the phrase, because you know with it being this close, that is something you definitely need to hit.
In a match like this, phrase hits are even more important than they usually are, because it's going to be very similar with notes hit for both of these players. Big activation here. You cannot miss, or it's going to be big points lost. Both players strong so far, get the overlap, still getting all these chords. These chords get you massive points. Both players nail it. It is still a close game. It's about 5K difference.
Yeah, it's a song that you may not necessarily would expect to have a decent bit of points, but you can get over 500K on this song, so plenty of time left as we see a miss there from Smitty.
It is going to be still, yeah, it's about a 5,000 note point difference still. It is Gio with approaching now an 800 note streak, very strong, and Smitty just hanging in there right now, staying within striking distance. We'll see if there's a slip up that they need so badly to come back in this one. Again, Gio currently up 2-1 in this match. Huge second half of this song coming up here for Smitty.
What Smitty will need to have happen is Gio miss under SP. If we maintain this difference in score, if there is a miss from Gio under SP, it will swing to Smitty, and they just have to maintain the lead should that happen.
Both players really strong on this section so far. Building up to the drop again. It's not too bad of a drop early on, so both players with the activation here. Gets trickier and trickier though as we go.
Yeah, Command, I'm still
so close.
I'm still waiting to see if there's going to be any sort of drop there from Gio, because right now they're holding almost a 1,300 note streak. Smitty just passing 1,000. It's still that same margin we were talking about a minute ago.
Yeah, it's going to have to be a miss here, and as we've said, I mean, because outpathing Gio to come back from 5,000 is pretty much out of the cards. Miss there from Smitty, that's going to be huge.
A miss like that does mean that Gio would have to miss twice now under SP because of the difference we were looking at before. It's about 7-8K. So Gio could miss outside of SP twice and still maintain the lead.
Coming up on this final activation that happens right at the end of the song. Here it comes. And the miss there from Smitty, that will just about do it. It's going to be Gio holding on.
There it is.
496 to 514. That is your final. And as a matter of fact, that is a PB by both players.
Yes, yeah. It was definitely a risky pick there. And we get the 100% overstrum there from Gio. That's absolutely incredible on a song like this. It was a risky pick. And so far, it's been hit and miss on those. Now, I think with the match being where it's at now, with, I believe, a 3-1 lead here for Gio.
It is best of 9, so you have to get to 5 to win. Just want to remind people.
Yes, you're absolutely correct. I think this now is the critical point where you've got to bust out something you are really good at that you know your opponent probably isn't as good at. And I do think the Voyage is on the table. I know I've been saying it, but I think it's on the table now.
You just want to break out that cowbell.
I do.
Well, we will see where they go next. It is going to be a big one. Now, again, 3-1 is a big deal. Not quite as big in these best of 9s where you have a little more wiggle room. But this song, the pressure is now another level.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct. It's definitely better to be in a 3-2 position rather than being in a 4-1 position. Because if you're in a 4-1 position, you have to win not just one, but multiple of your opponent's counter picks just to force tiebreakers. So you really want to try to even this up back a little bit more. So again, I'm going to go back to what I said. There it is. There it is. This is the time for it. The Voyage.
Break out the cowbells. It is time for the Voyage CSC edit. This is a boss song. For those who don't know, these songs were not available to be picked in the playoffs until we reached the top 16 players. So this song has only been performed in now a couple of stages of the first couple of rounds did not see these boss songs. What these boss songs are, they're more difficult than all of the regular song picks available, and they are I think they're more difficult than the tiebreakers as well. They tend to be debatable in some cases, and it's not like the hard rule or anything, but they tend to be similar or harder than the tiebreakers in terms of difficulty. So we will see the voyage now between Smitty and GiometriQ in this ever important song number 5.
Yeah, it's one of those things where you're right. Typically, your boss songs are going to be some of the hardest that are going to be available if they are available to pick, and in this case, they are. And I believe this is such a smart pick from Smitty at this point in the match to bust this out to try to bring it a little bit closer. I know Smitty outside of match has FC'd this edit. We'll see how they both perform here, but I definitely favor Smitty going into it.
For those wondering, Smitty's PB on this in match is 1.146 million. GiometriQ's 1.106 million. So 40,000 point difference between the two. But we will see how it turns out. It all comes down to how you play in this one run. No restarts here.
Yeah, and what's interesting about this song is leading up until really the last part of it, the last third of the song, this solo is arguably the hardest part you're going to come across, because it's not just pure solo stuff that you're going to run into. There's various drums littered throughout it.
Absolutely. You saw some of that there, some strings of strum notes early on there. Second half of the solo now as both players activate the exact same time. No surprise there.
And Demand, I'd like to point out that I believe both players have activated at the same exact time every time so far throughout this match.
Now, I don't know if they're sharing paths or not, but I'd be shocked if they were on vastly different paths on any of these songs here. But it is a very strong start for both. Both players nailing that first solo. There's that cowbell.
And it does look like Gio is holding a 200-point lead as we go into the second solo here. Now, those familiar with the original version of the song, there are 2 mini solos or 2 solos before we get into what we've experienced here. But for this edit, this is the second solo.
Here we go. Yeah, this Joe Stump solo, quick little bursts here and there. Both players still maintaining with such consistency. Over 1,000 now, coming up on 1,100 straight for both players.
You have to almost wonder, Demand, what could be going through Smitty's mind if they have remote highways enabled, because Gio is still FCing, and Smitty did likely pick this because they feel very strongly on it. And of course, they could be waiting for the later part of the song to come, but it is a little unnerving when your opponent is with you neck and neck on a song that you likely feel very confident on.
I can only imagine that playing against Gio, you just have an understanding that when it comes down to FCable stuff, it's tough to beat Gio, and you're going to pick songs that you think you can just out-hit them in terms of notes. So you're just betting with the song pick that you will outplay. There is the first miss from Smitty as we go into this solo, another miss. So now Gio taking a lead here, about 20,000. As we get out of that star power activation, yeah, it is Gio now. And that will grow a tiny bit more if they can maintain this level of consistency through the solo. They'll get a bigger solo bonus. It won't be a lot, but it will be something, and anything is big in a match like this.
Oh, yeah, 100%. If I were in Gio's position, I'd be feeling very confident right now, knowing that I'm still on an FC up to this point, still maintaining that first place score. It's got to be a confidence booster, and Smitty now, as we've seen here from chat, that Smitty does not have remote highways enabled, so they did get some information, though, by seeing the shift from 1 to 2 maybe flickering to now being a solid 2. Interesting information there.
Well, that miss there tells you everything you need to know in terms of, yeah, well, they haven't missed yet, so that's all Smitty knows, but staying internal, not always a bad idea, especially in a game like this where you really ultimately have no effect on your opponent. If you can stay focused on yourself, that is the best way to do it. So far, Gio seems incredibly locked in. As you mentioned, still looking really strong. Entering this solo here gets tricky, but man, the consistency from Gio right now, phenomenal. The speed, the accuracy, it's looking really clean, Brad.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Before we get into the real meat and potatoes where it gets really fast and absolutely crazy, we do see a miss there from Gio. I just want to point out that the consistency that both players are displaying here is absolutely incredible. As we get into the super fast part, Demand? Yep.
I'm just going to let it go. Oh, missed there from Smitty. And another one there. Gio is cooking right now. Wow. Awesome choke through the solo. GiometriQ, unbelievable. Now heavily in the lead on the voyage. And with a potential stranglehold on the match if they can make it out of this one with the lead.
I'm not completely lost for words, because as a caster, you never run out of words. But I am definitely almost borderline shocked to see this score discrepancy being with Gio in the lead and Smitty, falling behind here. I did not expect that. I thought it would be the other way around.
It's a heck of a performance from Gio here. I mean, on pace for a great score. Activation, the final one, right there. Really fast outro. Missed there from Gio, missed there from Smitty as well. This is the time for a move if there's any. But Gio staying strong enough and will hold, and that is it. Gio takes another one. 4-1 for the 14 seed.
Look at the note streak. Look at only 11 notes missed. We do see an overstrum. Gio was 5K off of Smitty's PB. I mean, this is just absolutely dominant play that we're seeing from Gio right now. Just simply incredible.
Like Brad mentioned, yes, in fact, that is a PB for GiometriQ. But as Brad states, and I know Smitty's going to be kicking themselves for this one, not JDSmitty's PB. That would not have beaten JDSmitty's in-match PB. That's a tough one. A tough pill to swallow. And now, it's not over yet. There is still a path. But it is a treacherous road for Smitty to come back here. Potentially their final song pick of the match here. Well, it is their final song pick of the match. It is going to be Chemical Warfare. And Brad, this is an interesting pick.
Yeah, it's interesting for multiple reasons. I believe that, as I alluded to earlier, we don't have any information from Gio on this song because Gio has banned it multiple times, and in the matches it wasn't banned, it just didn't get picked against them. And it's also, going back to Smitty having picked the Voyage, I still believe that was a very smart pick for them at that point in the match. But because they didn't perform well on there, they're going back to something they have either probably FC'd or performed very well on themselves before. So again, I think this is a smart pick here. We'll just have to see how it plays out.
Brad Chat wants you to clean your room. Very rude, very disrespectful of Brad. He can live in squalor as much as he'd like.
You are correct. I do need to clean, but I live in a very small apartment. I do apologize, so it could look a little bit nicer, but the focus should not be on me. Kali, I'm not sure how to pronounce your name. I know I butchered it. But we've got a 4-1 match with somebody's hopes of making it to winners finals on the line here. We'll see how it plays out in Chemical Warfare.
Yes, I don't remember if we mentioned or not, the winner of this match, not only are they just making it to winners finals, they will be facing Nados. If you don't know who Nados is, hop on YouTube and search him, because Nados, N-A-D-O-S, very, very skilled, arguably the highest skill ceiling in the tournament, waiting for the winner of this one. It could come down to this song right here. Gio with the early miss, though. Smitty now in the lead. A lot of song. It's going to be a lot of strumming and then some big-time solos. Let's see how it plays out. Smitty versus Gio. So a couple more misses there from Gio, actually, under that star power. So Smitty going to open up a bigger lead now, about 6 or 8K.
Yeah, this is the type of confidence boost song that you need, knowing that this is your last pick no matter what happens for the rest of the match. You want to go into something very strong, and yeah, I think Smitty right now is showing that they're still in this. They still want to win this match. It's going to be a little tough for them, but they're here to play. They're here to win.
Both players have done an incredible job this whole tournament. Like we mentioned, the scores from these players, they're in-match PBs out of this world. And this will guaranteed continue our players getting a PB streak. Gio has already gotten an in-match PB, having gotten more than 0 points. Both players now still looking like they've settled into a rhythm. Smitty still maintaining that big FC 700 notes in.
Yeah, it's one of those things where when you get into a rhythm with a song like this, because up until we get to the later part of the song where you're going to see some crust and some other things, it's pretty consistent. So if you're in a flow, you're in a rhythm, maybe nerves are... There could be some there, but with the match being where it's at, it's hard to say. But yes, both players are maintaining consistency, especially Smitty, who needs it right now.
Yeah, both players doing a really good job of hitting those strum sections there. There are some breaks between the strumming that at those fast speeds become more and more difficult to be consistent on, and here we go. You can see the activation. It might look like less notes, but this is actually a better activation than in that strumming section because the beats per minute has slowed down, so your star power is actually draining slower, therefore it's actually lasting longer and you're getting more notes under that star power than you normally would.
Yep, absolutely correct. The terminology may not be something that a lot of people are familiar with when it comes to this game, but yeah, the great explanation there, the man. I'm sure, I know I appreciate, I'm sure chat does as well.
So here we go. We're coming up on that infamous solo here. These Slayer solos are always tricky, and this is a really tricky one for those who have seen Warriors of Rock. You've seen a similar version. This is a different chart. Really tricky. Could come down to this. Early miss from Gio. Smitty maintains combo out of the first section. Insane stuff early on. That first solo will be a perfect one for Smitty as we get out of it now. Big lead, even bigger for Smitty. Now about 30K.
Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me right now? With the match on the line, knowing that your lifeline in the upper bracket is where it's at. To be able to hit that solo in match, just simply incredible. I love it.
So the FC attempt now for Smitty, unfortunately dead, but both players still on that path. Another miss from Gio, though, under star power is going to open it up even more. And we're approaching past halfway. Another big blob of misses there from Gio with a missed phrase as well. And now Smitty has a phrase advantage along with a big honkin' lead.
Yeah, I feel that Smitty's confidence has not wavered really this entire match. We've seen them perform extremely strong, really outside of the voyage. But they are definitely showing right here that they're like, hey, I'm not done. Don't write me off just yet. I mean, that performance on that solo, masterful.
What a performance by Smitty on those two solos. Perfect through both when they had to be the most. Coming into the end of the song here, still maintaining that big lead and that star power advantage.
Yeah, for anybody who has not seen this chart yet, is a facelift chart that Miscellany did really for this tournament, and I guess for the next facelift that's going to be coming up. The outro is different. Now, we'll just have to see, is there enough points in the outro for Gio to come back? We'll have to see.
Oh, that is a missed note there. No whammy for Smitty. That might have been an overstrum, actually, because you did see they got the phrase. None of that extra whammy star power, though. That's not going to be enough to make up 50K or 30K, but it is going to help Gio's comeback effort here. And here we go. We are coming up on the ending.
We are going to see a slight deviation there in path, potentially. Gio's probably going to go a little bit earlier because they have the SP to do so, and I suspect that Smitty will activate right when the SP matches, if I had to guess.
There is a miss there from Gio, and now they're equal on star power, so there you go. It will be negligible when it comes down to it. And we can call it here for Smitty. That is a big, big, big response by Smitty. That is going to make it 4-2. Like we said, it's not over yet. Quite a performance by JDSmitty.
If we look ahead at what could be picked here from Gio, because Gio could potentially have 2 picks, assuming we go to tiebreaker. We have to consider tiebreaker implications, but I think there's still enough left on the table that may not necessarily be a factor. Some strong stuff we hear. I know Gio is very strong on Cracks of Light. We don't have any data on Smitty. We could see Labyrinth, actually. Labyrinth would be a huge pick, with Gio having a significant PB difference than what Smitty has.
Yeah, it is interesting to look at. Cracks of Light has been a 2-time ban for Smitty, so that is certainly something to consider if you're in Gio's shoes. A -2, +2 from Smitty. Only 33 ghosts, too. That's also insane.
With Smitty being a very prominent console player, they have over 650 of 660 for the console full series FC. I think they're at 651. I think is what they're at. But yeah, a PB there from Smitty. That is correct. That is a PB. Yeah, with Smitty being such a prominent console player, you would expect their ghost counts to be fairly low.
It has been 6 songs, 6 personal bests by the winning player. Will we see a 7th in this ever important song, as they all are in the grand scheme of things? 2-4 match right now. GiometriQ 1 to win. Smitty has to keep things alive.
Yeah.
Now, sorry to cut you off. I do want to mention, Smitty will not be eliminated. For those just joining us who don't know, they are in the double elimination portion. They are both in the winner's bracket. This is the winner's semifinals. They will still have a chance to make a lower bracket run and try to make it back into the grand finals if they're able to continue. But anyway, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say that the quality of play that we're seeing just continues to increase from these two players. You know, with one of them moving on to face Nados, and the other one is going to move on to face the winner of the next match that we're going to be showcasing today. And their play just gets better and better. So I suspect that regardless of what song is picked, we're probably going to see another PB or something very close to it.
It very well could be. Again, these players went 14-3 and 13-4 on song picks before this, so to see this level of play should not surprise anybody. But for these players to elevate their game for a matchup like this just speaks to the amount of preparation that they've both done going into it, and anybody who's performed in a tournament knows that when it comes down to playing in a match, it is so hard to be at your very best. So for these players to be playing at this level right now, phenomenal stuff. As Gio thinks long and hard about this pick. It is a big one because there are tiebreaker implications.
Yeah, when you're trying to be the very best that no one ever was, you're really putting forth your just A game. And in some of these matches, especially this one. And I think, interesting. Okay. We have a new world.
So if you like thrash metal and you like that last song, never mind. I was going to make a thrash metal, power metal comparison. It doesn't work. Forget I said that. This is basically a power metal song for those who don't know. The score difference on this one is actually very interesting. It's 861 to 870. Smitty's in-match PB is a -3. GiometriQ has FC'd this one in match. Could we see another right here? The PB is 875.50 for those curious.
I'm getting word that every tiebreaker is still on the table, even with this pick.
That is crazy. Okay, well,
you know what that does mean, though, Demand? If Smitty pulls out the win here, and I think it's an interesting pick there from Gio, if Smitty pulls out the win here and makes it 4-3, Gio has the advantage to pick the tiebreaker in any direction they want. They could go for what they feel most comfortable. So it doesn't, it may not necessarily matter that they lose the song, and maybe it's a song they're not great at. If they feel really comfortable going into tiebreak, they'll probably lean that way.
Here we go. Once again, Smitty's back, still against the wall. Versus GiometriQ, who's been on a tear today. Funny enough, Brad, this is Gio's second song pick of the match.
You know, that is really interesting because Gio has not had 2 song picks in match in this leg of the playoffs.
Wow. Except for the tiebreaker, right? Oh, no, that was...
this leg.
Oh, yeah, because double Elam. Gotcha, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, it's one of those things where the song's been picked regardless of the implications of what is still to come, potentially. You have to go one song at a time for either of these players. For Smitty, one song to keep it alive. For Gio, to potentially win it. But if I'm in Gio's position, I'm feeling very comfortable right now. Because if Gio loses the song, not only do they get the next pick, they get to decide the tiebreaker.
Yeah, and it is an early lead for Gio. Looks like a squeeze has taken place for GiometriQ now. So in the driver's seat, even on both players' FC attempts right here.
Yeah, it looks like Gio has squozen himself into the... Oh, and as I say that, we do see the miss.
That is the miss there. We'll see if the different activations... Man, it is a big lead now for JDSmitty on Gio's pick. So, okay, here we go. It is now about, I want to say, a 15K lead for JDSmitty after that first little blurb going into the second verse here.
The reason that miss was so huge, for anybody who may have noticed, Gio not only missed, but they missed an SP phrase in the middle of an SP activation. That is something you cannot do, especially at this point in the match.
It's huge of JDSmitty to take advantage, make sure to hit that section, and now completely in the driver's seat.
Oh, 100%. Smitty, I understand with there's got to be nerves here because you want to continue on this match, but they got to feel pretty comfortable at this point, seeing that they are still in first. They may not know that Gio just had a very terrible miss, but they still got to be feeling pretty confident in their abilities here.
Absolutely. Both players now back even with star power, and you saw earlier that activation once again right on it with both players as we continue approaching the second half of this one.
And we are going to see our activation right about now.
There it is, as you said. Here come those quad sigs. Both players starting strong. Both
Beautiful
nailing
note.
it. JDSmitty, GiometriQ, both completely locked in right now.
Now, what's interesting about this part, for those that may have noticed with the soloing, it's pretty consistent up through there, pretty similar speed. There hasn't been a ton of variation in this song, but Solo 2, the one coming up, is what's going to decide it here. We do get a
miss there from Smitty. Oh my goodness, that is a huge miss by Smitty. That makes it much more attainable for Gio, making this second solo you were just mentioning, Brad, even more crucial.
That was a miss that I know Smitty's got to be kicking themselves over because that's just so uncharacteristic. But we've seen like 30K swings in this solo alone. Let's see what happens.
And here it is, that big solo coming up. A lot of tricky stuff coming up. First, this... You could tap it, you could one-hand it. I imagine they'd both probably be one-handing that. Here we go, some descending trills. Oh, it is all over the place, as you can see.
I think at this point, Smitty's got to be feeling comfortable. You're through, you're still in first. There's not really much variation here, so unless there's some crucial miss in here, like missing a phrase. Oh, and there's the phrase miss.
The miss by GiometriQ, and that is a phrase miss, and JDSmitty, if they can hold it here, and it looks like they will, can force another one.
This is just simply incredible. This is the type of match that you want to see at this level of the tournament. And I was telling the man just earlier that I was hoping that we were going to see a match that would maybe either be 5-3 or tiebreak at the end result. And we are going to see, at the very least, a very closely contested match here.
Absolutely. And with that score, 863, not only does JDSmitty force an 8th song, but that is a PB for JDSmitty. 7 songs. The player who has won has gotten an in-match personal best. Unbelievable stuff right now.
All right, folks. As I had said earlier, and if you're just tuning in now, we got a 4-3 match on our hand. Gio to pick, not only to pick the next song, but decide what the tiebreaker is going to be. So, if Gio picks a hybrid, we will get NL. If Gio picks a strum, we will get suspension. Or no. If Gio picks a strum, yes, we would get suspension because it'd be more strum picks.
Yeah.
If Gio picks a solo, then we get the strum tiebreaker. So we'll have to see what happens here.
So hybrid means hybrid tiebreaker, strum song means solo tiebreaker, solo song means strum tiebreaker, but that's if JDSmitty can steal it, because there are songs on the table that both players are certainly capable of performing well on.
What you got to ask yourself, if you're in Gio's position, do I try to go for the win, which I believe you should go for the win, but in Gio's mind, does Gio want to go for the win now, or risk it, pick something that maybe they're not super comfortable with, to go for a tiebreaker they feel very strong on? So we're going to have to see what they pick here.
It is an incredibly risky game to play, but that question is answered immediately. This pick is in. It is Cracks of Light, the 2-time ban by JDSmitty. This is a very interesting pick. We have no score data from JDSmitty on Cracks of Light, and like I just said, it's been banned twice. Was this the pocket pick that GiometriQ was saving for a moment just like this one? Or can JDSmitty pull out an upset and steal the song they've banned twice? Was it gamesmanship? Were they prepping it the whole time? We will find out. It comes down to this. Either tiebreaker or GiometriQ to winners finals against Nados.
I do want to point out an interesting scenario. Gio against Yugi picks Cracks of Light, loses it, goes to tiebreaker, the tiebreaker suspension. What scenario do we have right now? The last pickable song of the match, picked by Gio, Cracks of Light. If Gio loses this song, they're going to suspension. Does history repeat itself? We'll see.
How can you not be romantic about Clone Hero? Here we go.
I love this.
Both players understandably needing a second to take a breath. This is a song that has been edited. This is a CSC edit to make it an all strums song. So it is going to come down to strum control. A lot of burst strumming, a lot of speed. It is going to come down to this.
Whew. And I know that players experience nerves in different ways. And it's interesting to see when one player gets nervous, maybe their fretting starts to falter. Maybe a different player, their fretting is fine, but maybe their strumming falters. And a song like this, it's really your strumming control needs to be top notch, but it could still go either way.
It's flickering. I think Gio has a short lead. The ticks are different. It looks like a 30 on Smitty's end and a... Well, now it's not. But the miss there from Smitty, and that'll answer my question. It is Gio who is in the lead early. And a missed phrase from Smitty. Oh my goodness. That is not how you want to start this one off.
That was an absolutely brutal miss. But wait a minute. Wait a minute.
From Gio. It's not a missed phrase, I don't believe.
That was, I believe, in the middle of a phrase that was missed. Look at the SP difference that we have.
Oh my goodness. You might be right. Now, Smitty looks like going to get some of this. And there is the activation. Let's see how this plays out. This is some backup pathing here from Smitty. Under immense pressure to pull out backup path is tough, and then missing when your opponent is getting 3-note chords under star power and a missed phrase. It is now Gio heavily in the lead.
20k difference, but I do want to remind you all, for anybody who has seen this chart, and maybe it's been a bit, the ending is you collect 4 SP phrases and then you activate on the last phrase of the song. So even though there's a 20k difference right now, it's really going to come down to the end.
Yeah, it's going to be the rest of this song here where Smitty's going to want to try and fight back as much as they can. You cannot afford a lot more misses, especially against a player of GiometriQ's caliber, and I know that Smitty knows that.
Ooh. Yeah, right now we're just, it's going to kind of slow down a little bit here before we get into the really meat and potatoes section of the song here, but what Smitty needs to do to keep things in their control is just don't miss. That's all you can do.
All you can do, and right now 500 note streak for Gio seems to have settled in a bit as we slow things down just a bit here for this section. Last thing you want to do is have a miss here when you start thinking about, sometimes you can think ahead in the song. Don't do that if you're these two players. Stay locked in, just hit the next note that you've got. Don't worry about anything in the future.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. There's not really a ton to talk about in this section because it does repeat fairly, but the important thing is focus on getting those phrases. Every single one is critical.
Gio thinking the same thing, both players picking that phrase up there. Again, it's about a 20k point lead. Gio, one song win away from the winners finals against Nados. JDSmitty, one song away from forcing the tiebreaker. As we approach this final activation, a miss there from Smitty makes the lead even larger for Gio, making the task of a comeback that much more difficult.
And it's very tempting to activate during this part, but you actually don't want to activate earlier, which neither player did. You want to activate right here.
And there's that act, followed closely by Smitty a little later, and it looks like Gio a little more, and there is a miss from Smitty under that star power, and it looks as though that is going to do it with some now a couple of misses here from Smitty. And man, it has been one heck of a performance by Gio. Both players leaving it all on the table, but it ultimately is GiometriQ coming in and finishing the job, a +1, 100% overstrum to close it out. 5 songs to 3, GiometriQ to winners finals.
Yeah, congrats to both players. Hell of a performance. But Gio, that man, did PB. So we got a PB at every single song this match.
That is unprecedented. I cannot remember the last time that a player that won the song got a PB every single song. If you are in this chat, I don't know if you'll see another match like this in a long time. With having 3 matches played beforehand, to come in and get PBs on every song win, unheard of.
I'm really at a loss of words. The performance that we saw from both these players today, simply incredible. And though Smitty did lose this match, their run is not over. If I'm the other 2 players that have to play, I'd be a little scared. You've got a player who just PB'd multiple times in match against an opponent like Gio. I would not overlook them.
What a performance. Chat, I know, is showing their love to both players, well deserved. We'll get to speak to these 2 titans in just a moment.
Yeah, I'm really interested to hear some perspectives on a few things. And here we have our 2 players.
We have our competitors. An unbelievably nerve-wracking, intense match the entire way. And congratulations, Gio, first and foremost. What a win. What a performance. Before I get to questions, I just want to point out, give you guys a second to breathe. It's been a long match, a lot of tough songs. The winner of every song had a in-match PB on that song. Every single song, all 8. Really remarkable stuff by both of you. I'll start with Gio. Honestly, I'll just go with the generic one. Thoughts on the match? How did you feel playing in this match, coming into it, and then how you played in it today?
I mean, Smitty's just an amazing player. Of course, going to this match, very anxious about it. And honestly, what really caught me off guard a little bit on a couple of the songs, or really just Cracks of Light and an earlier song, where I was, Chemical Warfare, the riffs. I was just getting so nervous that I was like sweating way more than usual. And it was like coating my strum bar. I was battling a lot of strum bar slips in those 2 songs, but otherwise it was all skill issue. But yeah, I just in general was very anxious for this match. I knew it was going to be a good one. Smitty's very methodical, does very good practice, is always very prepared for all their matches. So hats off to Smitty for giving a good match.
Yeah, I want to go back to that first song, Smitty. The one drop ended up being the difference. It was a very bold pick going in. It looked like you guys were tied going into that miss. Kind of thoughts? I know there was a lot going on early with the internet, and then you have a fret flicker. That's a lot to focus on and have going on in your mind. How were you able to stay focused enough to force this to almost this close to being a tiebreaker?
My confidence was kind of wavering going in, especially with the Voyage. I was very interested about Gio not banning Chemical Warfare, so I was like, okay, I'll give that a shot, and I hadn't really practiced that one that much. That was beyond anything that I ever thought that I could do, having FCing both solos, just having a couple of silly misses. So that really boosted my confidence. A New World also did, and I was just praying that Gio did not pick Cracks of Light. I was praying for Mission, honestly. But yeah, that mission Buried was not fun, and I was considering restarting, but I decided against it because it was early in the match. It was late in the song.
Yeah.
But I won't lie. I'm a little gutted. I was really hoping that Smitty some of that went better for me, but I was also, like Gio was saying, super nervous going into this match, and I was, not super confident. So I honestly did some of the songs I did about how I expected, some a little bit worse, but some also a lot better, particularly Chem Warfare.
That was an insane run. Like, round of applause for that. That was I think it's probably the highest score in match, right?
It is.
Out of anybody? Yeah, by a long shot.
I had the highest before, and it was like 15k below.
Yeah, it was about a 20k increase in that PB. Not only did the winner PB their in-match score every song, you both PB'd on CSQN and Chemical Warfare. Obviously, Gio didn't have a score on Chemical Warfare, so that's kind of a technicality. But still, I mean, I think chat would agree. You both definitely brought the best out of each other in this one. It definitely lived up to the hype. Brad, what do you have?
I've got a question apiece here, actually. Smitty, for your first two picks, we were actually a little surprised that you went with Buried and Little Red Riding Hood as those first two picks. What was your mentality with going with Buried to start and then Little Red Riding Hood to follow up?
I was hoping to outsqueeze Gio on Buried.
That would have been awesome.
I was feeling pretty good about, particularly the second act double. I think I hit it. I can't remember.
You did.
I can never really see, but yeah, I think I did hit it as well.
I can confirm after the first activation, Gio, you were ahead by 200. After the second activation, it was tied.
Okay.
So that's, if that tells you.
And then Red Riding Hood was just like, I felt it was the one that I felt the most confident in. And I felt like I was pretty consistent, especially with the hard stuff on it. And yeah, that was the reason. It was a lot less nuanced than the first one. The first one being like I was really trying to outsqueeze, which would have been a monumental task, but I was still going for it anyway.
It was really interesting because going into that song, both of you, your PB and batch was tied. So we were thinking possible tiebreak implications on that song, where the next song would have been worth double points with Gio would have had the ability to pick that song. It would have been. We think about the would have beens, but it was a bold choice for a first pick, and that's commendable.
Yeah, that was another reason, because I felt that it was going to be picked at some point, and so I kind of wanted to get it out early.
Yep,
fair enough. And Gio,
yeah.
With it 4-3, you have the last pickable song of the match. Was your mindset to try to force the tiebreak or try to get the win outright, or was it kind of a combination of both?
So step back a little bit to the previous pick. So when I had the ability to honestly lock it, like on the previous pick, I picked a new world because I had FC'd in match before, but I didn't feel entirely that confident to FC it today. But I knew like if I dropped it, it was like a cushion pick, and I could still like shape tiebreaker how I want. I didn't want to commit to one yet. So when I went into picking that next one, honestly, the only two I was really looking between picking were Mission Impossible and Cracks of Light. I really wanted to pick Mission Impossible, even though I know it's much more, well, they're both a toss-up anyways, but like my consistency today on Cracks of Light felt pretty good, as opposed to Mission Impossible. The thing I was worried about losing on Mission Impossible is I was worried whether or not Smitty knew the path on ACJ, which I never got around to learning yet. And I knew it was less likely Smitty would learn the path to suspension. I could be wrong. I also just felt,
I'll go ahead and say I have the paths written down for all three songs.
Okay.
That doesn't mean I know them, but I have them.
Okay. Well, I just felt a bit more confident. My fretting felt much better, especially after playing the Voyage. So I went with Cracks of Light, knowing if it went to suspension, my hand felt good fretting-wise today to take my chances on suspension.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was more so a tiebreaker implication pick more than a confidence pick.
That's
Totally
entirely
understandable.
respectable. Yeah, it's one of those things where it's a very common strategy, and certainly respect you for it. But that's all I've got.
Yeah, and that's all we've got time for, because we got another big time match. Smitty, you're about to find out who you're playing next. Thank you both so much for joining us. Unbelievable match. It certainly lived up to the hype, and looking forward to seeing what you both have. moving forward in this tournament, Gio, you've got Nados next, so I'm sure you'll get right back to it. Maybe Nados has just started pathing ACJ Rift Medley. Who knows?
It doesn't matter. I will, and he better be ready with it. So.
Love to hear it. All right, we'll see you next round, winners finals. Thank you so much for joining us both as we move forward to our next match. It's going to be the 4-seed RadRog versus the 8-seed Vark. One player will go home, and one player will continue on to the lower round 4.
Yeah, it's never easy to be in a winner-go-home scenario because you have to play your best. It is what it is. I do want to talk a little bit. We do have our bans, so I'll mention those real quick. We have Scale being banned, which, if we look at the stats here, that is not too surprising to see from RadRog because they've already banned it twice. And Vark banning Chemical, that one is a new one. That is a new ban. Vark has traditionally banned Mission Impossible. That's the more common one. But I do want to point out that on paper, RadRog is fairly heavily favored in this matchup with their in-match PBs beating Vark on all but 2 songs. So it is definitely an uphill battle here for Vark, but I'm sure they're up for the challenge.
Absolutely. We'll be getting our first song pick in shortly as well. As you mentioned, RadRog does have a bit of a favored matchup here, but the one thing RadRog is going to have to battle, just played on our earlier stream for those who caught the first half, it was RadRog defeating, I feel bad, Jolu. I remembered. Defeating Jolu, I think that was 5-0. It was a really, really strong performance by RadRog, but they're going to have to keep it up and play another one against a tough opponent. Vark was the 8 seed going into this tournament on qualifier and remained the 8 seed after the tournament reseeding. So now as the 8 seed, RadRog was actually 12th in the qualifier, but is now 4 seed in this playoff, has done a phenomenal job throughout the playoffs. The first pick is in. It's that song that we were just talking about. We didn't see it last time. We will see it now. It is Mission Impossible. First pick by RadRog.
I think this is a very smart pick. We've seen statistically that Vark has not performed well on this song with the one time they did play it. RadRog has performed pretty strong on this song, so I mean, I believe they picked and won every solo pick against Nados, and this being a solo pick, they got to feel confident going into this.
Oh, we've got an early stoppage from Vark. It is very likely we see a restart, and yep, there's the drop from RadRog. So we will be restarting shortly. That is the false start. So here we go.
I'm curious if it was a hardware fault, or we've seen time and time again where something pops up on somebody's computer and it either puts Clone Hero in the background or minimizes it, or who knows what else it could have been.
Yeah, players do get one restart if it's early enough in the song and it's a hardware issue. So it happens. Vark, here's a couple of notes for the players. Both players playing on customized Les Pauls. Vark actually has a floor whammy setup, and we will get you info on stuff. The whammy bar was broken for Vark, so that is going to be fixed really quick. That gives us more time to preview this great match, though, which is great because we've got plenty of notes about him. So yeah, as you were talking about with song picks and bans, RadRog picked Mission Impossible twice, picked Full Speed X 3 times, and this is before the last match, so clearly solo leaning is RadRog, but well-rounded, certainly.
Yeah, it's really interesting with the songs that we have available to us. I mean, we've got every boss song still available to be picked. And yeah, I would definitely say that RadRog is probably more solo leaning, but that's where Vark needs to look at this and be like, okay, there are some songs that I know I've performed better on. In particular, Buried. Buried is on the table. Vark has FC'd that both times that they have been able to play the song once they picked it and once the opponent picked it, so they really need to lean into those songs that they are very strong in.
We will see how the restart plays out. RadRog was looking really strong early on in that Mission Impossible intro, and that's a lot of what you'll see. You'll see that ascending triplet pattern with the changing formations commonly in this song. Very fast solo pick. I mean, it should be readily apparent why this is a solo pick. Those bars, for those who aren't familiar, those are open notes, and because they're shiny, that means they are hammer-ons. So you hit it by literally just releasing the frets. So you have to be constantly jumping around the fretboard on this song. Very difficult precision. Vark having a couple struggles early already. It's worth noting this is a strong opening pick for RadRog. The PB difference is 60,000 between these two, so clearly some homework being done on RadRog's end.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I had said earlier before the restart, this is a very smart pick by RadRog. Going in strong in a song that you know that, very likely know that you have outperformed your opponent on and you yourself have performed very well on. Yeah, love the pick here.
Yeah, the last PB by RadRog was a -5, so we will see how that goes. Again, we're seeing some more drops here from Vark. Not many, though, getting back into a bit of a rhythm here, but RadRog remaining stone cold right now in this opening solo. Perfect out of the gates, now at about a 650 note streak to open things up in this match.
Yeah, if I'm in Vark's position, I got to be sitting there just kind of course this gets picked. You know, you've banned it 3 times throughout the course of playoffs, and of course you start the match with that song. You just got to kind of take your lumps, take it on the shoulder, and knowing very likely you'll probably lose the song, try to focus up for the next one.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, RadRog, though, this is an opportunity, if you have that first pick, Brad, to set a tone of a match early.
Oh, 100%. If you're in RadRog's position, and you know you're going to perform well on this, if you could come out with possibly an FC, be like, okay, Vark, just got an FC here. You know, it's 1-0. Even if RadRog doesn't FC, obviously they're performing very strong. Now RadRog is saying to Vark, what have you got? Bring it on.
Exactly. Both players obviously very respectful of each other's skill sets. You don't get this far in the playoffs by being a slouch, I'll tell you that much. But to your point, man, when you can show out like this early and, try and get the mental edge in a match early, that can be huge. It's going to be up to Vark's response coming up here, but RadRog continues at a 1,500 note streak now, past the halfway point.
It's one of those things where stamina could play a part. RadRog has got to be very warmed up, having already played a match previously, but arguably RadRog has passed the hardest part of the song here. It's really just maintaining that endurance.
And it just continues on RadRog's side as we are now, we're getting close to that 2,000 note number. Vark with that extra SP. I haven't paid too much attention to the activations from RadRog this one, mostly because this is one of those songs where pretty much decided by notes hit here. And again, that's a lot of good advanced scouting on RadRog's part, no doubt.
I will say that at least that last activation was correct by RadRog. I believe you do want to activate on the yellow-blue trill there that we saw. And I believe we have, 1 or 2 more activations? Not 100% certain, but I believe the activation was correct.
So now approaching the end here. I mean, it's a really, really strong performance. You can see why RadRog, both of these players receiving invitations to Elite League already, so already top 8 performers in this tournament. But what a show by RadRog early on here. Coming up on the ending.
Could we see it? Could we see the FC here?
Brad tempting fate as we approach 2,400 straight. And there it is, 2402. That is the FC to open things up by RadRog.
And I am certain, let me just double check, but we do continue the PB streak. We're seeing, not just do we get the FC, but this is a in-match best from RadRog. Absolutely incredible. Does anybody in chat, or does anybody know how many times this song has been FC'd in match? Because it can't be many. Absolutely
it's not
incredible.
Many. I know that. That was a heck of a performance to open up your second match of the evening. Remember that first match, 5 songs. Now, I will say, for a best of 9 match, to get out of your first match in 5 songs, pretty big for maintaining that energy, making sure you've got something in the tank for that second match.
Yeah, absolutely. It's one of those things where you'd have to ask yourself as a player.
91 Ghosts, not bad either. Sorry, didn't want to interrupt. Just for anyone who didn't see, RadRog did show Ghosts. I missed it. It was 91. Not bad at all.
Yeah,
Anyway.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I was just going to say, you have to ask yourself as a player, is it better to play back-to-back matches where you're already warmed up, or do you like to have that little bit of a break? And I do want to point out that the
response. Lightning fast response from Vark. You've got to imagine that decision was made either before the match or halfway through that song. It is Buried by Time and Dust, one of those songs that Vark has a PB advantage over RadRog. We will see how it turns out. We saw it earlier. It was a one-note miss difference between the two players. We will see who's got that strum arm ready to go, Brad.
Yeah, absolutely. This is Vark's best pick. Just looking on paper at in-match results, this is Vark's best pick. I know there's a little bit of pressure that Vark's got to be experiencing. Being down 1-0, your opponent just FC'd. You want to strike back. You just have to stay focused and do what you do best.
Absolutely. Maintaining focus on your own highway here, incredibly important. These breaks in between where you're going from fast strums to a couple slower strums, it's something that doesn't look too bad, but it is something incredibly important because it comes up often and it can throw off your rhythm. So maintaining that consistency is so important. No activation there from Vark early. RadRog did go early, so we will see different star power activations. Pathing is different now here. We'll see how it plays out.
It's one of those songs where your path can vary slightly, and you're going to get pretty close to what your opponent does, as long as you don't miss an SP phrase.
And we will remain off path. It did look like Vark got that last chord underneath that star power, so Vark in the lead right now, but RadRog does have that extra star power, so not quite a true lead yet. Well, it is a lead if there is missed phrases, but... Right, so now RadRog, with that star power, Vark has some, but not enough for an activation. Going to be really interesting to see what the scores look like outside of this, when they both match up again on their star power.
Yeah, we talk about score differences, but you don't really get the true score difference until the SP evens up, so it may not be until the end. Oh, right here, actually. We'll be able to
there's that next note activation out of this. It is flickering. It is so close. They're both at 58s at the back end. I believe, I'm not 100% sure, that I think Vark is ahead by 200. It's so close.
I'd be inclined to agree with you. Vark, his is not faltering.
We got confirmation. Vark is ahead by 200 points, confirmed by Java in chat, squeezing out one extra note to make it a 200-point lead now for Vark.
Okay, here's the scenario you have. There's, I believe, one more activation that we're going to see, maybe two, but at least one more. Do you go risky and still go for the squeeze, or do you play it safe hoping your opponent's going to miss?
Man, with a 200-point difference, it is tough to make that call, and if you're one of these players, you don't know for sure what that difference is going to look like. A little bit later of an activation there for RadRog, and it's going to be costly as that's actually some dead space with that activation. So Vark now with a larger lead. It's not enough to make up for a miss, but it is enough to make up for a counter squeeze.
Oh, absolutely. RadRog would have to go really hard on this last activation. And even then, I don't know. Unless Vark misses, I don't know if it's enough.
But this is where that arm starts burning, where players start taking those deeper breaths. It's going to come down to stamina and endurance. Does Vark have enough in the tank to make this 1-1, or does RadRog hold on, keep that pressure on, Vark die out, and make it 2-0 early?
Oh, goodness, it's coming right down to the... Oh,
no! Miss! Vark with the miss! RadRog still in the lead now with the activation, and that will do it right at the end! Vark cannot hang on, and it is 2-0 RadRog.
So not only, let's take a look here. That's a PB by RadRog, but that is the first time that Vark has missed in this song in match. That is devastating.
For those who don't know, RadRog, first FC, PB, that is Vark's first miss, as Brad mentioned. Previously had FC'd this song twice, but not today. It is RadRog stealing the pick. And now the pressure back on Vark.
Oh, I just want, before we move on to whatever the next pick will be, I just want to point out that in any other match that these two have played this song on, RadRog's previous PB was less than what Vark did just now. And any other match, 99 times out of 100, Vark is the presumptive winner, but the one time we see it, the one time it matters, right here.
That is gutting if you're Vark. This is the second time today we've seen it. A player has the lead with the squeezing done, and they just can't make it through. Man. And it's with the 4 misses, 4 overstrums. A 2,000 point difference between the two. Unbelievable. And now that counter pick for Vark is crucial.
100%. It's really tough now. 2-0, one of the strongest, I would say arguably the strongest pick that Vark had on the table, gone. I would suspect that the next pick we see could be Seasquin. I know Vark is very strong on that, but if we take a look at some of the other songs where it's actually very close still, Cracks of Light, their PB difference is very, very close, and we really haven't seen how strong Vark would be on, say, Breeding Exile. So there's still a path here for Vark, but being down 2-0 with not a lot of data to support you being strong, it is Seasquin. That's where we're going. I believe it's a smart pick here. It's
the SQN GDBG extended mix is the pick. And as Brad mentioned, it is the other song that Vark does have a PB, a better PB in match than RadRog. So these first two picks, no surprise here, Brad.
Yeah, no surprise. I think this is textbook from both players here on the picks that they've made. From this song here, it gets a little muddier, it gets a little bit more interesting, because regardless of who wins the song, I'm not quite sure where we're going to go, but we have to see the result here first.
So here we go. This is a big one for Vark. Now, as we mentioned, that 4-seed RadRog, unbelievably talented player. The only reason they're in the lower bracket is because they lost 5-4 against Nados. Vark early dropped their RadRog. Gonna open it up clean early here. Both players still same star power, though. For anyone curious, the PBs are 480, 578 for RadRog. For Vark, it's 498, 594.
And it
there's that activation.
Yeah, that was actually perfect for both players on that act. The earlier miss there from Vark, not too detrimental. That's going to hurt a little bit.
That is going to hurt a little bit. Both players from the United States of America. RadRog representing Delaware, the great state of Delaware.
I went there once.
Nice state. I almost went to college at Delaware. Fun fact.
I don't believe that was a phrase miss. It looked pretty close, but it was a phrase miss there by Vark.
It was a phrase miss, and that's going to be devastating for Vark early here. First drop there from RadRog. It is not going to be a phrase miss, though, which is crucial.
This activation is a pretty difficult one to make up for if you miss SP, so we're going to see the act. Oh, that's a little early from Vark, I think.
Ooh, there's another, that drop under star power, huge for RadRog. It does open it up a bit for Vark to come back, but not having that overlap proves to be detrimental for Vark in the comeback effort. Still now down about 14K. Has the star power advantage, but again, those chord sections are where you want to have all that star power.
Yeah, it's again, with the SP advantage leaning Vark, it's still hard to tell where we're actually sitting when, now that we're at the halfway point in this match. Oh, very, very close either way.
Absolutely. So Vark with the star power advantage, a 15K deficit on their pick. 2-0 RadRog as of now. Both players, again, this is, if whoever loses is going home and it is over. Miss there under chords again for RadRog, and that's not the place you want to miss. Vark now in the lead, and out of this star power, despite all of the misses from Vark, it is actually Vark with the lead. About 10K now, another miss from RadRog. Now Vark starting to pull ahead.
Yeah, that miss was absolutely critical. Vark needed that specific miss under SP, under some chording, and that was huge. Swinging it the other way, the confidence, you got to have some there. You got to finish strong with it.
So Vark's prayers seemingly answered there with that miss. Now just has to put up their end of the bargain, which is to hit the rest of this song.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you're looking at the difference between a 2-1 and a 3-0. You want to be at that 2-1. Absolutely.
Gava did mention that this song, that first miss by RadRog, was the first miss of the match. And that is correct, but after that one, a couple more costly ones, letting Vark back into this one.
Yeah, and right now, we're coming down to what I believe will be the final activation of this song. Still close enough that RadRog could steal it.
Absolutely crucial activation here. This tricky section, can't overlook it. Both players nice getting that 3-note chord. It's tricky. It's kind of a unique, different thing. Oh, and the miss there on these chords. There's the activation.
Hey, Vark's gonna hold here.
Vark will hold. Vark will take it. That is the song. Vark will get the win. It is 2-1 now. Fights back. More notes missed, but the higher score in the end.
Yeah. If you look at it, less overstrums, higher streak. The activations just played out better, and the last act and then that crucial one that RadRog missed, Vark took full advantage of both of those. And this, again, was really the smart pick here from Vark.
Yeah, RadRog winning the Ghost Inputs battle, but unfortunately doesn't come down to that. It ended up being a very impressive 1,400 note streak by Chef Vark, getting that win. Really impressive stuff.
Oh, absolutely. We'll have to see. And for those that don't know, Vark does actually do some cooking outside of, what you see with them cooking up some crazy stuff like this. And I've seen some pictures, he, cooks up some pretty delicious stuff, and it's pretty cool to see.
When's CSE staff getting some stuff mailed in? I mean, come on, what are we doing?
Yeah, we'll be waiting for it.
Vark, we'll make sure to send you our P.O. box. The pick is in, and it's a quick one, not only in song, but in speed of pick. Full Speed X is the song.
Now, this is really interesting, man. The score difference here is looking at about 30k in favor of RadRog. However, the miss difference on their PBs is not too different. You have a -18 from Vark and a -12 from RadRog, so that's close enough. That's a close enough margin, in my opinion, that while RadRog has the advantage on paper, it could still swing the other way.
Certainly could. You could also see that maybe there was one specific section on that Full Speed X run that had a big clump of misses. Maybe RadRog feeling a little more comfortable about that section now. Maybe now single-digit note missed counters what they're expecting. We will see. It's the Mike Orlando Classic Full Speed X live.
I really like this pick in the open because you don't have the quad runs and other really more difficult stuff that you typically see in
the mortifying Mike Orlando patterns you'll see in other songs, yeah. Early miss there for Vark, by the way. So that will put RadRog in a driver's seat early.
Not just that, Demand, but that was a phrase miss.
So RadRog off to the best start you could possibly have with your opponent dropping an ever-important phrase. I know this first one can get you a lot off the bat. So we will see how Vark can manage that situation, but so far so good for RadRog.
Yeah, with it being early in the song, while that is not the ideal play, you just have to adjust. That activation there from Vark was pretty smart. It's pretty close to where RadRog was sitting SP-wise at that point.
That miss there from Vark. RadRog maintaining that combo, does get the overlap. Vark does not. So a really strong start for RadRog right now. Looking like a great pick as of now. About 30k lead early.
It is interesting because I'm not super familiar with the path on this song. I actually don't know if you want that overlap or not. It's either a case of Vark was very... You do want that? Okay. Then Vark probably tried to time it and just missed it then.
I'm sure chat will correct me. They always do. But here we go. Coming up on the second solo, RadRog approaching that 1,000 note streak mark already.
Yeah, it's one of those things where Vark really needs to just try to stay focused. They built up a pretty decent note streak. RadRog still has not dropped that FC yet, but Vark still can't count themselves out here.
Absolutely. I mean, both players nailing those quick descending triplets so well. It seems like Vark has finally found a rhythm here, but these solos is where the butter gets churned.
Oh, that's an interesting way to put it, but yes, you are absolutely correct there.
And RadRog getting to work right now. Really, really strong stuff so far. Vark hasn't missed in this solo either. I mean, man, after that first solo, both players have been flawless.
And here we are coming up to the chimneys, and even though there is the SP advantage and Vark's missed a few times, it's still relatively close.
There's that act from Vark now. Maybe not being on path, just trying to get a note-dense section underneath. And even with the star power still down. And RadRog now has a full activation here. Coming up on the second half, there's the miss by Vark. and this could be RadRog running away with it if they can continue this level of play in this solo.
And this is just a fairly decent beatdown now with the difference and an SP phrase there.
Yeah.
Miss with they're going to be even on SP. It's
Wow.
a 50k difference.
It's another example of really, really strong scouting by RadRog. RadRog clearly went into this match knowing these are the songs I know I've got the advantage on, and I've got to be on it for each one. So far, so good.
Yeah, I would suspect that it might be a combination of both. It could be songs that they're just really confident on, and perhaps they did do their homework, but every pick so far has been extremely smart by both players.
I don't know if they're playing with opponents' highways or they know the score difference, but you've got to imagine at this point, those two letters start creeping into your mind.
It's one of those things where we've already seen an FC from RadRog on one of the solo picks. There's no way, right? We couldn't possibly see a second one.
Crazier things have happened. It is now 2,600 straight for RadRog.
And, you know, it's one of those things where Vark, I feel, is doing a very solid job, pretty solid performance here, staying in this match. But I have to give it to RadRog, where they have hardly missed this entire match.
Yeah. It is a incredibly impressive performance by RadRog so far, and it continues. Man, I mean, the pathing has been strong, the whammy's been good, the fretting is obviously on point right now. Here we come up on chimneys right after this. If I'm not mistaken, yeah, there's another chimney section.
No. We're coming up toward the very end here.
Sorry about that. I got confused. Yeah, no. This is the very end. Out of this.
There's no way. And chat is absolutely correct. He is playing cleaner than my room. Look at this.
RadRog FC, full speed X, 3-1.
What can you say? I mean, this performance right now in playoffs, I'd have to look back at the match results, but this might be the strongest performance we've seen from any player in playoffs up to this point. What is this? 3 FCs now in this match?
3 FCs and 4 songs for RadRog. RadRog might want to start scheduling doubleheaders every time they've got matches because they are looking really warm for this one. And minus 24 on full speed X. I mean, again, like, we're not talking about chump change here. This is a 1 million point scorer on full speed X on their worst run compared to the others.
Can you believe it if I told you this is a PB?
I would, as a matter of fact. The only song where neither player PB'd was CSQN this entire half of the stream. I mean, we can't overstate RadRog's level of play right now. Again, like, Vark back against the wall, throwing everything they've got against the 4 seed, but it's like a stone wall right now looking over at RadRog's side, save for one CSQN steal. So there is a little bit of a, you've drawn blood, but other than a little cut, it's not much right now.
No, it's really, the performance we're seeing reminds me of the likes of, like, Jeff,
or
Rob, players who would go into playoff matches and just crank out FCs, and JRH. Certainly can't forget JRH. This is the type of play that you see at, like, the upper echelon of player skill ceiling. Like, this right here is not something you see very often, and RadRog just is playing out of their mind. Of course, I don't want to take away from what Vark has done to be able to stay in this match. What they've done is an incredible effort, but right now RadRog just looks virtually unstoppable.
It is not over yet, but so far, as I said, so good. I mean, man, you can't say it enough. But if you're Vark, it is a tough place to be right now. Where do you go?
All right. In light of previous predictions, if I'm Vark, I'd be staying away from any other solo pick. There's no way I'd be looking that route. Looking at it Cracks of Light might be the play here because their PBs are so similar. It could go either way. Looking at what we have on paper and what we've seen. Honestly, if we take a look at it, there's not enough data here to really say whether this is a good pick or not. So
it is Breeding Exile. The pick is Breeding Exile by Vark. Never played before in a match by Vark. We will see what they are cooking up on this one.
Yeah, do apologize to not point out to the song. That is correct. It is Breeding Exile. The only score we have is by RadRog, so Vark could be cooking up something big here.
And we'll see. The counter pick by Vark. Was it a pocket pick? Both players very similar whammy. Early miss there for Vark. This is the Strum boss, so this is a tough one.
I've mentioned this before. This is, and I'm probably not alone in thinking this, probably the hardest song in the entire set list if this is not your specific skill set. It is so brutal. The stop and go, the technical strumming, the chording required. It is a brutal song.
And then RadRog missed there on the little grace note, but other than that, it has been really clean from RadRog's end. There's the act from Vark, the follow-up by RadRog.
It's still really close either way. The SP, there's no real advantage here, assuming nobody misses the phrase. And they
got both players ripping this right now. Miss there, a couple misses now from Vark under that star power, and RadRog still on it.
I mean, we've already mentioned RadRog's performance up to this point in the song. We've seen, like, what, 1-2 misses in this song? It's one of those things where right now it's a tall task for Vark. Certainly not over. When we're looking at a 3-1 match, this is something they clearly felt they were comfortable in wanting to pick it. There's still enough song left, but we'll just have to see if they can pull it out.
Yeah, they are looking very comfortable. I mean, and it's not a lack of strum speed by Vark at all. They are showing quite a lot in terms of the chording and the transitions and the quick strum changes, reset strumming, all of it. But RadRog came ready to play every single song on this set list so far, except for CSQN, which, to be fair to Vark, that was a huge win.
Oh, yeah.
Especially considering how RadRog is playing right now, that is a massive steal.
Oh, absolutely. 100%. And this is one of those things that chat brings up where this might not be a song that they feel they're best at, but perhaps they feel that they can beat you. We're currently not seeing that result right now, but maybe that was the mindset in picking this.
Well, Brad, at the top of this, we explained that the paper, if you looked on paper, it was a favoring RadRog match through and through, and you are seeing why. RadRog putting on a show right now at 4,000 points, now over that, over 100,000 point lead on the boss song.
Yeah, I think really the biggest surprise of this match for me was Vark not FCing Barry. I think everything else has played out as expected so far. And we do want to point out that is not a disrespect to Vark.
No.
That we recognize that Vark is a very talented player. They're going to Elite, so clearly we know they're talented. But we knew that RadRog, putting up the result they had against Dados, we knew they were going to perform very well in this matchup.
Oh, yeah. Man, yeah. Whoever ends up with RadRog in their Elite League group could have a very interesting time. It has been quite the performance by RadRog, and that will do it. That is song number 4, or that's song number 5, win number 4 for RadRog.
PB number a zillion, as we get another one.
You want to tell them how much that PB was by?
I will absolutely tell you. That is a 70k PB. Or 60k.
60k.
Yeah, 60k PB.
No, let's not get crazy.
No, sorry. Yeah, 60k PB. They were not messing around. Look at just the difference here. Way less overstrums, hardly any notes missed. RadRog definitely put in the practice here compared to when they played it last time.
Minus 11 on Breeding Exile, as you stated. Could be to some, the hardest song on the set list. Quite the performance there. Vark is down to their last pick, potentially, of the tournament.
Yeah, I think Cracks of Light has to be the play. Unless Vark's playing for vibes and just wants to play something that they want to play. I think if you want to try to stick in this match, Cracks of Light has to be the option. There's nothing else that's even really close on paper that we've seen. And I just, again, want to point out that RadRog's performance, for those witnessing this match right now, this, for me, has been the strongest performing match from any one player the entire playoffs. This is definitely going to be a memorable one.
It's up there for sure. You'd have to look through the other matches, but man, in terms of one individual's performance, that's impressive.
Certainly. Yeah, we've seen obviously the RadRog and Nados matchups, and RadRog was involved in that. That was a nail biter, really, going into the tiebreaker. But for one player's performance specifically, 3 FCs so far that we've seen, it's just simply incredible. You gotta really respect it.
If I'm not mistaken, last year was RadRog's first open tournament. They made quite a run in that tournament as well, but they have taken the next step clearly, as this match has shown.
Oh, absolutely. They are here to show that while yes, they're not in winner's bracket right now, they're still here to play. They're here to make that run. Based on this sort of performance, they could make it all the way to Grand Stay. And, we can see what they'll do from there. But, of course, they still have to get past Vark. And we have our pick?
We may have our pick. Yes, we do have our pick. Yes. It is Nico Majin versus, is how I'm going to pronounce it. Both players have not registered a run on this. I will say, depending on how this goes, if RadRog were to win this, I bet JDSmitty is very happy that they're playing this, because getting more info on your potential next player is very valuable.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And, it's something that Vark may feel very comfortable on. We have no data, so we really just don't know. It could be a vibes pick. We'll see how it plays out.
We will see how it plays out. Back against the wall for Vark, RadRog 1 away from advancing to lower round 4. This is the last match before lower round 4 matches happened, and then after that we are on to the grand final stream. It is closer than you can even imagine at this point. So we are almost at the end here.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see how that all will play out. But before we get to that, we got to see the results here.
Yep, an early misses there from both. Vark did have a couple more. Exact same activation. Both haven't played it in a match, but they both seem to know the path perfectly.
Yeah, great execution here from both. Early miss there from Vark, and we see RadRog having another one, which is going to swing the lead over, I believe.
It will with these sustains.
Yeah.
So now you see these extended sustains. We haven't seen much of them in the songs so far, but there are some in here.
Now, I do want to point out that you may be tempted to activate right up here, but that's not where you want to activate it.
And both players very wisely not. Vark able to make it through, now on a 300 node streak.
Yes.
Vark not ready to go home yet.
Oh, no, absolutely not. They are still playing with victory still potentially on their mind here, and that is where you want to activate because it's a lot slower through here, so you get more points.
And another miss there. Not missing the phrase, though. Huge for RadRog.
Yeah, really, if you think about it, I feel that RadRog is in a very safe placement right now. So even if they lose this song, they'd still have, the next 2 picks, should it come to that?
Oh, sure. Absolutely. Man, and the thing that's impressive, too, is the whammy from both of those players on the extended sustains. RadRog actually whammying a little more on those. Another impressive element to RadRog's performance today.
That miss there is going to hurt a little bit, being under SP, but as long as they get the SP phrase here, they should be fine.
Yeah, both players. Now, there are going to be some more chords for RadRog here. Not actually just one, and it's going to be still about a 10k lead for Vark. That's going to be more than a miss's worth. 11K.
This is Buttersworth, if you will.
I thought about saying it, and I was like, that'd be ridiculous to say. No one would ever say that.
We get a little...
players,
go ahead.
Yeah, we get a little goofy here late in the stream. But here we go. It's a little bit closer now for RadRog, with them both missing just a moment ago, but the other miss there. These really sporadic, uniquely like math rock-ish sections. I'm sure math rock fans will be furious at me saying that. I don't know. But it seems like Vark has got a really nice hold on him, but the quick solo here, RadRog has a bit of an advantage. Now with this the extended sustains actually, and these chords creeping up to that lead slowly but surely. Will RadRog take the lead? It's still not a ×4 yet. And there it is. It is now a 2,000-point lead for Vark after that excruciating crawl back up to ×4 on Vark's side.
And for those that are not familiar with this chart, we did get past arguably the single hardest part, but this outro is no joke. It could swing either way, and with it being this close, we know RadRog is very strong soloing. So it's certainly not out of the woods here yet for Vark.
The last quarter of this song here we go. It is no joke. Now with the skill ceiling we have seen from RadRog today, you've got to imagine it's hittable. RadRog now in the lead under the star power, one miss from Vark, and it flips.
I believe there's still one more activation, so Vark is he's still got a chance here, but I don't know.
It gets really, really tricky. RadRog was able to stay within striking distance and then take that lead off of a costly miss from Vark. There's the miss there. It's now a 10K lead for RadRog. It is looking like they can close it out right here with this outro.
Now, it might be deceptive, but this right here, this is what's going to determine it. Here we go.
Vark staying in it. Both players hitting that first section. Hitting that. Here's the activation from Vark. Response from RadRog. RadRog misses. Vark hits it. Misses there. RadRog holds on at the end. That is it. RadRog will move on to lower round 4. 5-1 victory.
Absolutely incredible performance there at the end. It really could have swung either way, but RadRog holds strong, extremely strong here. Yeah, what is that? A 9-0 for RadRog today. Simply incredible performance.
Quite the showing from RadRog. -17 versus -31. In the end, didn't have the best streak, but had enough to get the high score. 5-7. Very strong performance there. And that will do it.
Well, I mean, really, you gotta give it to both players here. I really want to give it to Vark for going into this match likely knowing that they were outmatched on paper in many aspects of the songs that were, displayed today, and they still came to this match with the mindset that they could still find songs that they could win, and it was pretty close on a few of them. So, well done to Vark.
Yeah, but we're going to be getting them in just a quick second here. It's going to be moments, and they'll be in here for the post-match interview by these two players. RadRog and Vark. What a performance by RadRog. A statement win, if I may be so bold, by RadRog today. Stating to the field, I am here to compete for the win.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Oh, here they are.
And here we have them, RadRog and Vark. I'm going to start out, obviously, with the winner. RadRog, amazing performance, incredibly strong. How did you feel about how you played in this match, especially considering you had the match earlier today against Jolu and had to reset and get ready for another one? Did you see RadRog's mute? Okay, here we go.
I'm so sorry. I don't mean to be an asshole, but I had to turn my headset on and off, so I didn't.
Oh no, you're good. Totally fine. You're good. Did you hear my question?
No. I just heard my name. What was your question?
Okay, yeah. The question was, how did you feel about going into this match, knowing that you had the match beforehand already, and you kind of had to reset and get ready for another one?
Well, I was hoping that I could just stay warmed up. I was thinking it was going to benefit me. But I was hoping that Vark wouldn't pick Buried Between Time and Dust or whatever that thing's called, right off the bat. And that's exactly what happened in my arm. I was nervous my arm was going to get tired, but I was actually able to hold through. I was super nervous though, because I had two incredibly tough opponents to go against back to back like that. It's definitely, my nerves were going crazy. My hands are sweaty, I was all shaky, but it was still was able to pull out a great match.
No, it certainly was a great match, and those nerves never go away the further you get into the tournament. I'll tell you that much. So unfortunately, you're gonna have to deal with that the rest of the way. And I do want to go to Vark and go to Buried by Time and Dust, which you had it right at the end. You actually had the squeezed out lead leading into that miss, and then right at the end, it just kind of fell apart for you. What happened?
I don't know. I think I kind of just like kicked my with my knee, kicked my guitar, and that sort of just threw me off, and I missed a little section of notes. I was really hoping that it would be like a sure win, because I had FC'd it 2 for 2 in playoffs, so I was like, oh yeah, like I'm gonna get this one, and it really, the stakes were pretty high for me. Like I had kind of calculated in this matchup that RadRog just kind of completely outclasses me on solos. So my game plan was to just let him pick all the solos he wants, and he can win them as long as I win all my picks and force the Strum TV. And so like my plan was already kind of ruined from the start as I dropped the first song.
When the matches against the higher seeds come up and you've got a bit of a discrepancy and the level, the amount of wiggle room for error gets lower and lower. And when RadRog, and I want to go back to you, RadRog, when you're playing as well as you are, 3 out of the first 4 songs were FCs, and every single song that you won was an in-match PB. So clearly, even if you had that match earlier, maybe you want to start double-heading every time, because I mean, man, what a performance in the second set.
Yeah, no, I didn't expect all that. Obviously I was trying to FC because that's what you do, but I didn't expect and obviously once you're on an FC, it makes the nerves go even crazier. So I'm sitting there just trying to lock in as much as I can, and then sometimes I see my thing flickering back and forth between 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Sometimes I forget like the star power path and stuff because I'm got so much going on. But yeah, it was a great match though. That was my first double header ever, but it turned out pretty well.
Clearly did. Brad, what do you got?
Really, I don't really have a ton of questions here. RadRog, I just gotta say that's one of the more masterful performances I've seen, especially this season. You only missed 37 notes, I believe, the entire match. That's simply incredible. That's got to send a message to your next opponent, who is JDSmitty. What's your mindset going into that? Do you feel you're going to change your strategy up? Is there anything you feel you need to work on? What's your take on that particular matchup coming up for you?
Well, I'm super excited to play Smitty. Definitely got to go over like some Neko Majin and Breeding Exile. Those were definitely some curveballs throughout me that I don't think I've played much like in matches. And I know JDSmitty does like Neko Majin. So yeah, I'm going to keep on practicing, and hopefully I can put on a good match against him. Definitely going to be nervous. He's a very, very good player, top level player, but sure it'll be a great match between us.
Yeah, Smitty, they're just, they already had a, pretty nail-biting match against Gio, so it's going to be interesting to see you play. Now, Vark, you went into this tournament, or really the playoffs, where when it got to this leg in the playoffs, only 3 people predicted that you were going to make Elite League. What do you have to say to those who believed in you, those that didn't, and how do you personally feel now that your tournament run is done, how you felt you did?
It's mixed feelings. I never would have thought that I would get top 8 just looking at everyone else. I think, I put in the practice. However, I think I got like a super lucky bracket and some unfortunate, my run could have ended at Blue Bro, but they dropped. So I got to like top 16 and so yeah, I mean, it's mixed feelings. I'm super happy that I made it this far. A lot of people predicted that I would lose to Cam as well, and I beat Cam. However, Cam had some issues. I honestly was a curse to everyone, where everybody I played had issues. And RadRog just kind of stomped that out. They said, nope, I'm winning this one.
All right.
So I wish that I could give some watch out everyone, but honestly, super humbling to to get this far is insane.
Well,
Evan,
yeah,
you?
with the luck taken out of it, do you feel that you surpassed your own expectations coming into this?
Definitely. I would not have imagined that I made top 8, and I also, like, at the very least definitely pushed myself to learn some things. Like, for instance, what comes to mind is like full speed X, the chimneys. I'm like notoriously bad at two-handing, and I actually like took the time, like a solid hour, to improve on something that I do not want to improve on. So yeah, I'm definitely taking things away in this, and still have to work on tournament nerves though, because that is just like, that and soloing are like my biggest flaws.
Yeah, soloing you can work on. Tournament nerves, it's really just mitigating. They never go away, because if you care about it, you're gonna feel it, and that's just part of it. And that's part of what makes the matches so great, and it can really bring the best out of people when properly utilized. And I think we've seen a lot of that from both of you in this tournament. It's been really remarkable stuff to watch from both of you. Vark, this is the end of the road, though. Congratulations on making this far and earning the top 8 Elite League invite. And RadRog, you are still in it. You've got a couple more matches left, but it's one at a time. Back is against the wall once again against JDSmitty coming up. So really looking forward to watching that one. Best of luck to you both. Thank you both for being on our stream today. It was a pleasure to watch.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you guys for having me. It was awesome playing with you, Vark. I will see you guys next time. Thank you guys for casting it.
Absolutely. So the RadRog fans rejoice. It was quite a performance, and I have a feeling that people are now really going to start circling RadRog's name if they hadn't before as a competitor moving forward in this tournament. Brad, it was quite a performance. And then Gio and Smitty, both really strong. I mean, just to look a little bit ahead, I'm not going to spend too much because we're going to wrap it up, but I mean, it's going to be pretty back and forth with Smitty RadRog, I think, because Smitty's got some darn good scores on some songs, but RadRog has that really strong skill, like just foundation that could end up, you could out note somebody if they're not on it, but with someone like Smitty, they are almost always on it.
Yeah, I think Smitty's going to take notes on what went wrong and what went right in the match against Gio and really apply those, knowing the result that we've seen here. I mean, I want to point out that we're in top 6 territory. We have 6 competitors left. Nados Gio, Moose Pickles Burdee, and now we have RadRog and Smitty. So we're coming down to the wire, and every single one of these players has the capability to win this tournament. It's incredible.
No, absolutely. As I've mentioned, next matches that are due, our lower round 4 matches are going to be due by Thursday. We're gonna try and make those work. It's 2 matches to be done by Thursday, and then it's the grand final stream. We are going to be streaming lower round 5 and 6, as well as winners finals and grand finals. We will have an extra round if there is a bracket reset. We'll get to more of that later, but at least 4 matches in that grand final stream, and they will include Nados and Smitty. They will include the winner of Moose Pickles versus Burdee, and they will include the winner of RadRog versus Smitty. So it will be a lot of fun. Can't not wait. Thank you all so much for joining us. It's been an absolute pleasure to broadcast this with you. I have been Demand2413, joined by Brad Masta once again. So happy to have broadcast this one for you all. Shout out to all of our refs today, from first half and second half. Shout out to all of our casters today. Shout out to Mason Jar, keeping it down on the 1s and 2s. Great job with the broadcast as always. But yeah, Java with the reffing. Also, it was Luna and Faith reffing, and then Cheeto and Java for casting as well. You're all the best. Salute to all you 07. We'll see you next time. And yeah, that's it for me. Let's go, Caps. We're going to beat the Canes.